Hello, Twitch chat. How are we all doing this fine Sunday evening? You are in for an absolute pleasure today because not only is it the Nova Cup finals, but with me casting, I have both Offmer and the fake one. What an incredible panel I have with me today. This is very, very delightful, guys. Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Wagwan, we need to get a name for it. Like maybe, I don't know, Haters Clique or something. You can figure it out, Penny. But we definitely need to like brand it and ship it.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Let me play with the bios because I'm covering up a lot of your camera, which is very, very rude. But the others should be okay-ish.
That's my favorite part of every Nova Cap. Whenever I'm casting, that's pretty much what I come here for. I just want to know what's in my bio for this month because you update them like an absolute champ as well. So that's.
I mean, I changed it
like,
up this month.
Oh yeah, I expected you would. So I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for the delay to go through and to see what you put in on the official channel. And it's like
It's the little
favorite
touches.
part of my day.
It's the little touches. That's how you know that we have production value here on the Nova
Yeah,
Cup
yeah, yeah.
channels, right?
And that's where you can feel the love on your side. That's like your love language is adjusting the bios every single month, and I appreciate you for this.
It is also about the extent of my creative talent, so you don't expect anything more than a one-liner.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's all we need. That's all the LTD2 community needs from you.
Yeah, amazing. Talking about the LTD community, by the way, they're in for a treat today, right? Because the first game that we have is going to be Drakir and Atrocity playing up against, I think it is Dark Quacker and Mr. Slickins. So a pretty spicy one right from the get-go. We did see Drakir and Atrocity absolutely dominate their opponents yesterday. So they were playing against No Greed Balls Feed, who are also in the semi-finals, but they are in the other half, of course. So we won't get to see their semi. But they just got destroyed. Like Drakir and Atrocity just took them apart piece by piece. It was possibly the most one-sided Legion I've seen in a long time in like a Division 1 game.
Yeah,
so
they
let's see.
slammed them pretty bad.
Yeah, like if they're playing that level again today, they might just steamroll their way through to the August Nova Cup champion. Like
Indeed,
I
indeed.
don't know, they were on a different level to everybody else. I think we'll have to see. Can they keep it up today? Yes or no? And then on the other half of the bracket, it is Sagittarius and Johnny C. That's double penetration, loving the team names, playing up against No Greed Balls Feed, who we just talked about. So that one's probably a bit closer on that side. Although that said, Dark Quacker and Mr. Slickins, they're a dark horse. I mean, a Dark Quacker
Yeah.
apparently, but they're pretty nice together. I think they definitely like pull out all the stops when it's tournament time, right?
Yeah, definitely. They raised their level for sure. And Mr. Slickens, when he's actually not reading chat, he's quite a strong player. Even when he is reading chat, so without the distractions, he's definitely a beast. As long as he contains his little inting side, then he can pop off for sure.
If he's any
I mean,
Slickins. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. But sometimes even when he's inting, he's actually kind of a beast. He can like cover up his flaws. Even like that's pretty crazy, I think. But I think if I recall correctly, last month it was Quack and Slick to kick out Drac and Lucy, or was it? I think they won a series against them.
They won
Yeah,
one.
yeah, exactly. Because I actually met them in the semifinals on day 2 because I was dreading Drac and Lucy, and I was so fortunate to see Quack and Slickens there, which was also crazy. So yeah, this should not be as easy looking for Drac and Atrocity as yesterday's games were.
Yeah. A bit of a grudge match then, right? So if this was the team that knocked Drakir out of the tournament last month, then he's got something to play for here this time around, right?
Yeah, he's got that teammate upgrade.
Yeah, that's the 50% of a grudge match that you're gonna get.
Yeah, yesterday I was a bit interested to see whether, like, clearly Drakir and Atrocity, right? They're both at the very top of the ladder, like 3.3k elo or something ridiculous like that. But I was wondering whether, because they've never played Nova Cup together before, would that kind of show? Like, would the individual talent be able to outweigh the fact that maybe they don't have that team synergy, they're not used to each other's playstyles, etc., etc. And man, they proved that they very clearly do. Like, it was unbelievably well played by those guys yesterday. So we'll have to see if they keep up that same level here today.
Sure.
Whether Slickins and Quacker can withstand the onslaught, because this is going to be a tough match for them. But I can't rule them out. I think these guys can definitely step up to the plate when it's time.
And if I recall correctly, after watching yesterday's game, actually rewatching yesterday's game, it was 400 Mythium on wave 10 to finish game 2 again against No Greed, No Bow something style. Their
something
team name was
ridiculous.
very, very hard, okay? Their team name was very hard. And they were tough opponents as well, so I mean, it
Yeah.
all kind of checks out.
Yeah. I quite often just relate to, say, the No Fun duo, because that's their playstyle, and it's much
Oh,
easier
yeah.
to remember. Like, it's way easier
Yeah.
to remember.
Experienced twice in one day in 2 best of 3s. Very, very much fun.
Those were some close series, though, man. And look, you may have dropped out on day 1, but now you get to cast instead. So it's a trade-off, right?
It was a trade-off all along.
And I'm very...
It appears to be the greatest foreshadowing cinema has ever seen. Absolute cinema, you might say.
Speaking of trade-offs, Offma, by the way, was in a tournament of his own over the weekend from a game that shall not be named. He also managed to drop out in order to secure his place on the casting panel instead. So both of you, opting to cast rather than play. So it's an honor. Thank you, guys.
Of course. Can't miss the Nova Cup.
Absolutely, it's a banger. And also, Penny, you've just given me a great idea for the name for this panel, which is 3 losers. Of me and Offma, obviously tournament losers, and you just being a regular old loser. Beautiful. I love it. Ship it. We have it.
What about 2 losers, 1 clown? You know?
That works too.
It stops me being a loser, and it's a bit of a reference to a very, very disgusting video from a few years ago that you might remember.
Yeah, maybe let's not mention this one, but yeah, sure. I like it. I can take the change here.
2 losers, 1 clown on the cast. Amazing. All right. Speaking of which, have we got a lobby available? We are getting to that time.
Yeah,
guys.
I've been waiting for my other loser and the clown.
Oh wait, I forgot. Well, I may have forgotten about it. Just like a tiny bit, like 1% forgot about it, maybe. So I may just now be starting the L Legend TD2 game.
Well, we're still in time. We've got a few minutes yet before the scheduled start time. So if anything, we're ahead of schedule. Very, very good. Again, the production value really kicking in here again, guys. Speaking of which, I might just pull my microphone a little bit forward. There we go. Even better production value.
That's just too good. That one
off
could
the
say it's
charts.
top notch.
Yeah,
It's off the charts, absolutely.
Yeah. Are you like struggling to deal with this level of professionalism in the cast, Fake One? I know it's probably a bit higher than what you're used to.
Yeah. So after retiring, I think I've got my expectations level down enough to be here and to be able to like cope with all the pro that goes on here. Okay, I'm in the game now, by the way.
Amazing. All right, have we got everybody here? It looks like all the players are here, so as soon as Fake One is here, then we should get all the first game underway, and the players are going to answer for themselves whether or not Slickens and Quacker are able to withstand the onslaught here from the secret agents. This is going to be a pretty exciting one. Looks like the players are ready. We should get the game underway ASAP. I am excited, guys. I hope you are too.
Yes, sir.
Very, very excited for this game, to be fair, because I think this is going to be a challenge for Drak and Atrocity. I from looking at yesterday's game, it didn't really look like they had any opposition at all in those games. Whether it was due to them playing very, very well or the opponents maybe not up to the task, but this should be a tougher nut to crack, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. And guys, without any further ado, we are about to find out, because here it is. Game number 1 of this August Nova Cup semi-final is here. It is the secret agents on the left versus the quack abusers on the right. Game number 1. Let's go. Hey, what do you guys think about these Legion spells?
Some nice aura action here. And Dracos for castle in a 0 aggressive game, so it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I've seen some redraw being picked by Aviator in those kind of games, but I don't think we have any redraw players in this lobby. We get the tag. We get the infamous Kingsguard from Mr. Slickens, and he's actually super scary of this Mastermind because it kind of goes in pair of how he wants to play. Because he can end harder with this Mastermind and actually do fairly well because King is super tanky. So yeah, this is actually kind of scary, and he knows how to push. So even though the income on this Mastermind is slightly reduced to what you usually go for, I don't think this should be an issue.
He can make up
I
for
wonder
it
if
for
he's
sure.
gonna skip the angler. I know he doesn't like the unit, but he does have casket angler, which would be pretty juicy.
Yeah, it feels kind of rough to play Angler with like a 0 income mastermind, but maybe the fact that we have 2 castle players as well, you're just kind of playing at the same speed as everybody else.
Yeah. Atrocity has a nice little flying force roll with the new unit, the Warpwing.
Oh yeah,
nice.
that's crazy.
Oh wow,
That is
actually,
really
yeah.
crazy.
4 out of his 6 units are flying. This is a really interesting role here for Atrocity.
0 income Sakura as well. For Dark Quacker. I
Pretty
think.
chill.
Yeah, that's super chill. But I think Drakir is really happy with his role. A lot
Yeah.
of early game
Yeah.
units to help with the low castle income. 5 worky opener. Whenever I'm playing castle, the first thing I'm looking for into my role is, can I get a 5 worky start and somehow, you know, cheat the how weak the start is for this mastermind. And I think this is super nice for Drakir.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And he's really rewarded as well because Quacker with that Sakura start over here, obviously a very, very slow opener, very low workers, very low pressure, and that just super alleviates like the problems that Drakir might have had with his castle early game, right? So he can push hard, he can income heavily, and he can just scale quickly despite having that 0 income mastermind.
Did something change, or why is he snailing this?
We're about to find out, I guess.
I don't think this leaks. This leaks a honeyflower, but I don't think this leaks a cascade.
I think with the angler tanking, there's just no way, right?
Yeah.
The angler even survived its side, yeah.
What a beast.
What a beast. I guess if the angler did not tank, it would have leaked pretty badly, but it did. So.
That's kind of weird. On Drakir's side, he usually like knows those things by heart, and he's a very good player in that. But I guess not a big deal. It's just a 4 gold snail feed into
Just
Vikings. What could go
sandboxing
wrong?
in game.
Sandboxing in game, absolutely, yeah. I mean, there is a chance as well that it does leak if the units are positioned like half a square higher or something. I don't know. Like, aggro can
Yeah.
be very weird. Although
Fickle.
it's consistent, it's weird.
Yeah, for sure. And Quacker smartly doesn't go even split. He just stays lower split because it doesn't matter. It's not getting 60.
I mean, does it matter? Like, the DT went straight
Wait.
into his Sakura. I think it kind of matters.
Pretty sure.
Looks like it matters, dude.
Oh, interesting. I swear that used to never leak.
I mean,
but-
there's no way it leaks if his split is even, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, you used to be able to greet that with, like, just doing lower split because 40 would not leak Sakura on a thingy.
I think
Yeah.
Sakura's been nerfed a couple of times recently, right?
Yeah.
So maybe just one too many nerfs to be able to do that.
Unlucky.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I had the same impression as Ofma, so I'm kind of surprised by the league. But it kind of screws up the game for Dark Quacker because that leaves
Yeah.
him
Yeah.
so much more open for any robo action in the early game.
Yeah, wave 5 becomes way scarier.
Yeah.
When you don't have the 2-shot threshold on the little scorpions.
I mean, can
Yeah,
he
and
just
wave
leak
6
this
as well.
DC resend or what?
Surely not.
He's not two-shotting the chickens anymore, right?
Oh, he doesn't have a seedling behind his units?
Yeah?
he might.
Yeah, that's
Or?
sus.
I don't
I
know.
think
this-
he's just vibing.
I think if this Sakura dies
No.
again here, he's just like in absolute
Yeah, the game is...
disaster mode.
Oh god.
Oh,
At
it goes
least
down!
we can-
Oh, Quacker! Like, it's a tiny leak, but he's lost 2 stacks before wave 4. This is crazy,
Yeah, it's
man.
rough. And Slickens did manage to do something with his Dino Pressure on the Atrocities build, so that's good for them. But yeah, definitely not looking like Quacker's in a good spot. And they are going to try the resend. The Sakura basically is not a unit right now, so Quacker is doing the smart thing and just turbo overbuilding.
Oh, he has to, right? He absolutely has
Yeah.
to. But this
Yeah,
thing is
and-
also not a unit, right? This is like a Swift armor Grawl, so...
But still, he has 3 very good units for the wave, and I say 3 with like full confidence because Seedling can be very very
If it's
powerful.
alive, it's like 300 damage.
And it's also the thresholds usually on
Yeah.
on the Scorpions, but I don't
Usually.
think this Sakura has any thresholds on this wave.
There's no thresholds left anymore, that's for certain. And the Robos there are shredding through this gate guard. This thing is going down pretty quickly. Are we going to lose another Sakura stack here? Oh, it looks like we are, guys.
Yeah.
This is just an absolute miserable situation here for Dark Quacker. And his teammate leaks as well. So again, 2 small leaks, but those Sakura stacks, he's never getting those back. And this is going to be decent king damage here on wave 5.
But they do have that Kingsguard.
They do have Kingsguard.
Yeah. That's where it comes in handy. And they also have been stockpiling the Mythium, 120 almost for Slickens now. So
Yeah.
there's, some saving grace in that. But, having this sort of a start with a Sakura, with Castle, is, I don't know, the worst thing that could happen. Maybe a very, very prolonged DC is something even worse. and having the bot built for you. But, other than that, this is extremely
Rough, yeah.
whiz.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Elliot just barely missed double brute in income, so he's just minus 10 gold. But
Just insult to injury.
yeah, let's see how this power system does. Atrocity went for double Whirly Bird. His answer,
And he's still a big
Robo
send,
does
right?
look like it's sniping the first Whirly Bird, and now the second one is also getting sniped.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
he
actually
looks like he's cooked.
the Robos just ended up being Biss there for Slickens.
That's
Yeah, I
pretty-
mean, Slickens is definitely in a spot to carry this
Ooh.
game, super hard.
70%
Yeah, but at the
leak
same
there.
time, look at Drakir. He's never leaking here, super confident in the units he has on his board, a Seraphim, a Canopy, and 9 work is already... There's probably another one being pushed right now because he's very good on wave 7 and wave 8. And remember his castle, right? So covering
Yeah.
here, getting to hold, getting sort of a free game because how Darkquacker's early game went. That's gonna be Drakir versus Mr. Slickens kind of game.
For sure.
Yeah, remember though, Drakir is on that castle, right? So the fact that he's the highest income in the game already by wave 7 is a
Yep.
little bit spooky if you're a Quack Abuser fan.
Highest income, highest workers,
Yeah,
and pretty close in value.
he's in a very, very good spot actually.
Yeah, and the game seems to have figured it out as well. Top power score with Castle on 7.
But if there's anything to throw such a game is sending double brutes into a banana bank. So maybe, I don't know, maybe this can bring Darkquacker back. Atrocity losing on some income, I guess.
Yeah.
Potentially
He's
good
killing the Sakura
things.
again.
Sakura is down.
This
Well,
might
he's
be
a
the
Sakura anyway.
lowest stack Sakura I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I can't lie.
He is holding though, right? Or at least leaking very, very small.
Yeah, he looks like he's leaking Brute and Creep,
Can he kill the brute? He can't.
which is still not good when you're plus 30, but
No.
it's the little things.
Yeah. Let's see how many
It's
stats
just
on
some
this Sakura.
stacks.
Beating his
the
teammates,
angler.
Bounty Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Ooh,
a
brutes
3
here.
stack Sakura on wave 8. That's very unfortunate there for Mr. Quacker, I think.
Yeah,
we
he
do have a
got
double
wave
brute.
1, wave 2, and wave 6, right? That's it.
Yeah, pretty rough.
And Atrocity, he is getting these brutes. He has the Fire Lord as his answer. I mean, it is a good answer, but his tank value is 3 gargoyles, so he might
Mhm.
still be in quite a bit of trouble.
Well, the Fire Lord needs to tank as well, right? But he's also just turbo lacking in DPS. Again, the Fire Lord is both
Yeah.
his only tank and his only damage dealer here.
Yeah, and it's insta getting brooted as well, which definitely hurts the DPS, but it's actually
tanking pretty
could
nicely.
stay alive
though.
for a good amount of
Can it
time. The
survive?
Robo's gonna kill it. but
No, okay. That would have been a dream.
yeah, looks like half the wave. Pretty solid leak.
Yeah, he
For,
can never kill one
Mr.
more. He
Slickens.
can't. 67% there for Atrocity. Drakir is holding, of course, only receiving the income send there.
Mr. Slicken's also doing a good job against these snails. Still hasn't gotten his Kingpin spike yet, so whenever that comes, he will be able to pop off a bit. And with the spells in the game, I mean, Hero is looking pretty good for him with the gates. It's also looking good for Drakir, though, with the Starcaller gates himself.
Yeah,
Yeah, and remember, Drakir is sending a lot of income mercs into Mr. Slickens, and obviously holding is nice and great, but at the same time, you're still lower income because you're sending power mercs into Atrocity, who is not the threat in this game. It's Drakir. So, yeah, some of that bird gold is going to be used on Mr. Slickens' side to get the KP out. This means a lot of pushing in the upcoming waves, but at the same time, Drakir's income is basically what you want to look at in this game because it's already in a very respectable position, and after wave 10, it's gonna absolutely skyrocket.
Yep. Now, Darkwanker, he's cattle as well, so there is some saving grace there. However, he is already 15 income and 2 workers behind on Drakir, while having basically exactly the same value, so economically speaking, he's probably 100 gold or so behind.
Yeah, they kind of want to look for a play rather than just matching income, I
Yeah.
think.
This handshake gaming, as Shadowwings would call it, is not going to favour them when they're already behind.
Yeah, I mean, the game already looking at these units, like 14 is probably the wave that's going to matter this game, with Gates and Phoenix being 3 of the 4 builds. So we'll see if like they can either create something where 14 isn't the problem, or they can get in a spot where they're the only ones actually with pressure on 14.
And the thing is, yes, you do want 14 as Slickens and Quacker into your opponents, but how do you get there, right? Because they do have more workies, or at least they used to have more workies before Slickens pushed to 17 here.
Oh,
And
beast.
their situation is also so much better economically speaking. So how do you force that 14 play? Do you hope for the enemy to income send you to death, and then you have the pressure, which is sort of happening right now, although I do not think
they
it will
were-
happen for longer.
They were looking for 12, but Atrocity is looking all of a sudden a lot better there now that he has Levi's
Yeah.
shown. So maybe we just see an 11 send into take your hero spell.
They could all just do something like just a pre-income send and then embargo
Yeah.
for 14. That's a pretty good line, I think.
I
Hey,
think
Quackcraft to Sakura 11 then. Let's go.
Beast.
I think that's
income
sort
line.
of the line that would maybe bail them out. The embargo line. I kind of like it because you're not in the best of positions, and as I said before,
But
look
what
at the
if-
income situation.
What if we just give 14 straight? Is that crazy, guys?
That is flippy. That's the sort of play that I usually dislike because it's just flippy, right? If it doesn't work out, the game is just lost. But at the same time, they're sort of in a maybe not desperate yet situation, but in a situation that's hard. And maybe you need
But-
this sort of a risk.
I don't
Maybe
think
they
they
are
want
just gonna
straight
go 12.
14 though. Like Slickens has pushed
Yeah.
super hard. He's on 22 workers here, 1300 value for 11. That says to me
Look,
that
think
they're
I'm-
sticking with the 12 plan maybe.
Yeah, it feels like that. And nobody embargoed, luckily, so there's no... You cannot abuse people taking embargo and sending 12. So we'll probably see... We could see just Income King, but Drac is already overvalued with Hero. They might just elect to save and do some King ups.
Slickens is actually going to leak to no send here because of this
Oh,
really
it's
weird
actually leaking
interaction
way-
where like one tank
Yeah,
makes
one
all
creep.
of your melee units go to the right.
That's a
Um,
classic.
The classic.
Yeah.
it's so weird. I can't get my head around that kind of pathing, but here it is, and
It,
Slickens takes
happened.
42% because of this.
Last Nova Cup, remember, fake one was a victim.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
wave 8.
And I actually sandboxed a lot of those things, and in some position, like when you position your units wrong at some point, it's so hard to fix that. Like I even tried like
Oh,
a lot of
that one is pretty easy to fix.
the
I like-
one on this board, or
On this board, I mean, either board, you just need to put like any unit like here,
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and then you're back. But
Like,
it
it
is hard to
depends-
see in game sometimes.
It depends if you want your ranged units to tank, right? Because it sometimes can make
Yeah, but it is better if they don't
yeah,
die.
sure. That
But
is
we have
correct.
Hero Phoenix on Levi, like it's probably good enough to do well here. And Drac obviously has, I mean, Starcaller is not the best unit on this wave,
But
but
Drakir's plus 35 value.
yeah.
So
He has
Darkwanker
that
recognizing that, just going for an income send, not even trying to leak him.
Yeah, but doesn't that give away the game though? Because we were talking about 14. Can you realistically think that you can 12 to 14 with this amount of workers and knowing?
probably not going to be a 14 play anymore. I would imagine.
Yeah, but then if it's not 14, what is it? Is it 15 into the Levi Phoenix Hero Gargoyles, or is it 16 into the Levi Phoenix Works? That's tricky.
Yeah, it's not clear what I mean. I actually cannot think of a wave that's you can leak both Drac and Atrocity on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, and that's the tricky part. I think that now sort of the only saving grace is, I think, given away by this send. They're still in the game, especially if Drakir and Atrocity maybe, I don't know, make a mistake, send on a wrong wave. Maybe there's still a way out, right? But like currently, I think Slickens and Quacker don't really have a clear win condition.
I think 16 is looking pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Like, clearly there's the
Maybe.
Phoenix there for Atrocity, but Drakir looks pretty weak there. And like these units, the Warp Wings, they're pretty bad 16. So is Leviathan, maybe.
I mean, it's a stretch, but yeah, if there's anything, that would be it, I guess.
He does have that DPS Phoenix right now.
Oh, wait.
Oh, does the Warp Wing tank first, or how is this Phoenix not tanking anything?
Yeah.
I think it's the Warp Wing pulling things so that the Warwick tanks first, but I'm not sure.
I see.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Especially on this wave as well. Let's see how it acts on wave 14. By the way,
I think he's capping, right?
Oh, it was attacking the wrong thing!
And that's 1 HP as well.
Yeah, 50% leak there for Slickens. My lane aggro indeed.
That is
But
unfortunate.
they don't call for the cap. Oh wait,
Oh,
it's
wait.
not
It's Vortex.
Wait.
Okay.
That's a solo send from Mr. Slickens.
Yeah, this is interesting. I mean,
I
maybe
mean-
it works
Play.
and Slickens just gets infinite Burt here, but I don't know.
I mean,
I
I
he's
mean,
not
if this
that weak,
Phoenix
right?
is still DPS, then yeah, this board is cooked. I'm pretty sure. But
but Atrocity
let's
is not
watch the
even
Phoenix.
on shutdown. I think this play would make way more sense if Atrocity was on shutdown.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Just to claim some extra gold.
Let's see if the Phoenix tanks. Okay, it's tanking now.
It tanks now.
It
okay.
tanks like a little bit.
Like, perfectly, I think. It's just sat here on 0 mana the whole time.
I mean, well enough for the DPS, not enough to make use of the HP pool, I think.
Still leaking, right? But I think this could have been much worse than it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Is he leaking?
Yeah, but very low. Very
Oh,
low.
yeah.
33% there against, what was this send? 460? I think Atrocity's
Yeah.
very happy with that, especially when Drakir didn't get a send at all, so there's no king damage.
Now you kind of just get 16'd.
Yeah, and you die because you have no units for it, pretty
Yeah.
much on either side.
Do have those death caps, but don't think those will save Quacker.
Yeah,
It's
there's
big enough send.
not really any tank value for the death caps, right? Like, sure, Manta is a bit of damage reduction, and there's the Skellies, but at the same time, Drakir has already, Atrocity already has 680 Mythium, so
Yeah, I mean, at least they're pre-building for the right wave.
yeah, that's very respectable.
I guess
But,
they can
yeah, these-
just like max king as well.
I think with Slicken's value, it is super sus. Like, he's gonna be 3.6k value against like a 1k send.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough there.
Plus
mean, there's
legit
King's
red
Guard.
value if he does. Yeah, I mean, that is a good thing about 16. They do have that King's Guard, but they also don't have full kingdoms. So,
Yeah,
unless Slicken's go income king.
No, I think it's either income king or full king on Slickens. I think full king may have been better in terms of like trying to survive because the amount of king ups he's going to be able to do here may not be enough. I'm not sure if
I
he
think
finishes.
he gets
the bow.
full spell, hopefully.
Yeah, that should be left territory, right? With the King's Guard, but what's the life left?
Drac is going for full king damage send, not really trusting Slickens to do anything on this wave. Just triple 4-eyes.
But the
Atrocity
4
goes
eyes is
double Kraken.
not that great against the king anymore, honestly. It's like it was nerfed really heavily, specifically the king damage that it does.
Would you rather
What?
send Needlers or?
Not sold on this double Kraken, but it will make it hard to kill some of the wave.
I think I would probably send witches. Take one. Like
Yeah, or
witches
like
do really
damage
heavy king damage.
looks pretty good, yeah.
And the other thing is that they just distract the spell, right? So it takes the king a lot longer to clear the wave.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
They are getting their leaks.
139, 156. Big leaks reaching the king. Let's see Kingsguard, can you shine here? They did not quite max the spell. They only have 8. It's a lot of
Got
units.
his guy.
There is a shutdown on Drakir meanwhile, and it looks like Kingsguard is just able to keep them in the game. Barely
My
though,
God,
barely.
Nerf Kingsguard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're back.
they're ahead now, right?
Yeah.
surely.
Huh.
8%. I mean, that's more than I would have given them. So
Well,
Thanks,
it's
Jules, I
more than
guess.
if they died last wave, right?
Oh yeah,
That is
that's
true.
exponentially more.
Yeah,
Not for
they
them.
do probably need to survive 19 now. That looks like probably the next play.
Yeah.
I mean, it could just also be 20. I mean, I think Drake can do whatever. He's holding every wave.
Slickens just has basically no way to hold on 19, right? Like,
Yep.
Quacker has those
anyway,
havens.
mass
Sure.
dogs.
Really.
The Warp Wing, by the way, is actually very, very good on 19, I've found. Or the Void Manta, the upgrade. Really good on 19 because it's a super fast attacking wave and it can just reduce it by like 80-90% of its damage or something crazy.
Yeah, this
And
situation.
Atrocity, I think he's capping a little too hard, but maybe it's fine.
You think he's selling it? Is that the big? No, it's not happening.
It's close.
I mean, I think if you're looking from Quackers and Slicking's perspective, it's like whenever in this situation in the game, you're just trying to survive the send, and you either hope income and hope that somehow, I don't know, maybe you can win on wave X, or you try to survive the enemy send. Maybe, I don't know, bait them into sending a wave early or something, but right now, looking at the values, you can just see what the point of the game is. Atrocity is basically on value, Drakir is gray value, and both of the opponents are heavily into yellow value, with Quacker 1k down. So I think here in Atrocity, good enough players to see those values, see those boards, and say, okay, it's a RUP 19. And I don't think Quacker and Slickens have any agency to counteract that.
Beta males?
What are they touching?
Oh,
they're touching each other. Yeah. Okay.
Just BMing a little bit.
Here comes the send, guys. We've got the double Kraken from Atrocity. We've got the Shaman, double GK coming out from Drakir. And sure, Quacker and Slickens, they're going to try their best as well with some sends of their own, but they have less Mythium, they have significantly less value, and of course, way less King HP as well. This is going to be a tough one. They're going to need a miracle, I think, for the Quack abusers to come out on top of this one.
Yeah, I'll see
the Slickens APM challenge. Oh, he's just building upgraded ones.
Yeah, so looking at the state of the boards and at the values especially, I don't think there's a miracle that can save them. Maybe like 2 or 3 of them could potentially do that job, but talking about the Manta, because you mentioned, Penny, the Void Manta being very good on 19, what do you guys think is the answer to that on this specific wave? Because I've actually been in this position like 2 or 3 times already, where I was thinking on what to send against this particular unit, and obviously disregarding the rest of the board. Usually you want to send spam into it to sort of dilute the damage nerf that it does. Do you think like mass sending robos and stuff is ever realistically a play into it? Just to, try and get those hits?
I think there's probably 2 things you can do to try and counter the Manta. Either really heavy tank send, so that their splash just never touches the wave, or like you say, like a massive spam send, like witches, robos, stuff like that, so that their debuff can't concentrate on a single unit. But interesting theory. Unfortunately, Dark Quacker, it turns out, was not able to hold with the Void Manta, despite it being a really good unit on 19. It was a 67% leak there. He still did really well, right? He's minus 1.6k value, and he leaks 67%. It's very respectable. Slickens didn't have the Void Manta, didn't hold nearly so well, and was about the same recommended value, by the way. But yeah, clean play there by Drakir and a Atrocity clutching the game here on wave 19. And by the way, they haven't lost a single point of King HP this game.
Beautiful. Just as you intend to win a game, and that sort of continues the trend that they have shown yesterday. Dominating their group, absolutely not even breaking a sweat today as well. So Jack and Atrocity really putting a show this month's Nova Cup so far.
Yeah, definitely. Now, clearly, as we were saying before the game started, this game felt a lot closer than the games we saw them play yesterday. Slickens and Quacker, they put up a good fight. They took it all the way to wave 19, but even so, they weren't able to shave even 1 point off the king HP of Drakir and Atrocity. So that's actually the same. When No Greed Balls Feed played against them yesterday, they didn't lose a single point of king HP in either game. The 2-0, they didn't lose any king HP. And they seem to be keeping that record going. Like, you can't lose the game if you don't take any damage on your king, right? So, pretty solid play there by Drakir and Atrocity.
And what would you say? Obviously, this game went very, very sour, very, very quickly. But what would you say needs to change other than not kill your Sakura on 3, 4, 5, 7, many, many more waves for Quack and Slick to actually stand that chance? Because I think Slickens has been doing very, very well in the early game.
Mm-hmm.
He had the Anger stacking. At the same time, he kept the pressure on Atrocity, licked him a couple of times, sometimes with Income, sometimes with Brutes, like a respectable game of Wood. And that looked like a very, very solid game from him up to a point. Obviously, the Soul Send was kind of sus. But I think if the same early game doesn't happen for Quacker in game 2, it could be a completely different story with maybe Drax and Atrocity King actually taking damage.
Yeah, no, 100%, right? I think that game looks very, very different if Dark Quacker places his Seedling half a square higher on wave 3. And it literally comes down to that. It comes down to that. If his Seedling was even split, he holds wave 3, then he can hold wave 4, then he can hold wave 5, Like, the Sakura is such a snowbally unit. When you lose one stack and then you lose another one the wave straight after, you're doomed. Like, your entire game plan is just down the toilet and you're already on the back foot. You're having to, like, play from behind from wave 3, basically, which is just not a position that you want to be in. So, yeah, like, basically my advice to Quacker and Slickens would be don't int your Sakura on wave 3, and hopefully you'll have a better game this time around in game 2.
Yeah, you can't really mess up early game. Like, it's just the game's just instantly impossible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but
it's kind of crazy.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because there's been a lot of patching lately and like changes, especially in the early game, on how some units interact with, I don't know, other units and certain squares. So you get a better or a worse leak with a Windhawk, or your Gate Guard Steed dies or doesn't die to a snail. And apparently Sakura on 3 versus a DT with a half down split is another victim of those.
No, I think they just nerfed Sakura. We were just talking about it in the chat. I don't think a single person knew except for Drakir.
so it's just the Sakura nerf that causes it to happen?
Yeah, I think they nerfed Sakura and buffed Pixie in the same patch.
Oh, you may be right.
Well, I mean, in the middle of a Nova Cup semi-final is not the place you want to be finding that out. So unfortunate there for Dark Quacker. But look, he knows now. So let's see how these guys want to try and turn it around as we go into game number 2.
Yeah, and it's time. Wait, he just Mega Minds Greed after
That's pretty
Greed.
pissed.
What a beast.
Yeah, especially in like a game of Cartel as well. Yeah. You're mega chilling if you win with this.
That is a pretty okay Fiesta roll. Not like insane, but can work.
Yeah, pretty decent. He's got the
no
console, obviously, very good.
Problem.
Would you go for double bazooka Buzz here, or would you just go for the consort opener?
I think they both. The problem with consort opener is you don't have a great 3 answer besides Tempest, I guess. And the same thing with the bazooka opener. So I'm pretty sure either way it's not looking great, but I'd probably go consort because you don't really have, like, bazooka, you kind of want to play it when you have like a super 7 answer, like Bunk or Boar with it. It makes more sense to play around the Buzz and then the Tempest into the like LOD or Firelord as your primary build, I feel like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That is what it's going to be. As we can see, Consort comes out. I love the Bazooka Fiesta. I'm like personally so biased towards it, but I do agree with the argumentation on my side. I think it's just the better choice here. But he doesn't get snailed, so that's a very, very good start for Quacker. 5 workies on Mr. Slickens with the Gate Guard, so a perfect pairing of Masterminds with the Fiesta Cartel, a perfect opener for both of them, I would say. High value Fiesta Consort opener and 5 worky Gate Guard. But they're not going to be happy with the very quick 5 workies on the opponents. They would probably rather have them play Sakura unfortunately, not this game.
Right. And Quacker does go for that 6 workers as well, by the way, so playing this one pretty
Yeah.
fast and aggressive. Something else fun that I wanted to point out, Atrocity picked Greed last game, and this time he mega-minded it.
Best.
Yeah. What a beast. It's the King Dance strat.
Yeah.
Megamind Chaos into pick Chaos.
Well, King Dance does
Oh.
it the other way around, right? So he mega-minds something,
Yeah.
has fun with it, and then picks it in game 2.
That was very painful to be the recipient of.
I bet it. Alright, Atrocity does go for the post-income snail. Dark Quacker will be leaking heavily here with his 6 workers, but that's fine. There's a couple of snails going over to Drakir and
He
Atrocity
does
as well.
lower split again?
Wait, so does
What?
Atrocity. Atrocity's kind of getting destroyed here, no? Oh no, the
No,
archer
not
just
really.
cleans up. Never
They,
mind, never
they
mind.
did buff that archer unit.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah,
Yeah,
Quacker
I
leaking
don't
75%.
know why you
there.
would do lower split. Like, I don't think you ever want your consort to be hitting snails. So,
Yeah.
and like you are gonna raise the split with Tempest later, anyways. I mean, he's gonna sell for casket, I guess here.
Oh, that's painful.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
That's
That's what he has to do. I mean, he's still 6 workers.
sure, but at the same time, that leaves him open for a potential wave 5 or wave 6 send, and we can see Atrocity, at least for now, not sending full. So if he skips wave 4, that means that the Fiestas are not going to be nice.
But
Because
he
you
is
can't...
gonna catch that full send.
Yeah. That's,
Actually,
that's
don't really like this full send usually into like consort fiesta. Like unless you're sending 60, it's just a pro league, or well,
Yeah.
in this case, it's a hold. But I feel like if you get to 60, then it makes a lot of sense to go for a full send. But here, I feel like just going. I mean, it depends on how risky the consort player plays. Obviously, if they go 7 workers, then yeah, you want a full send. But
But you really
most
rarely
people,
want to do that.
most people do not do that.
Yeah. And it's often worth to have at least like semblance of pressure for wave 4, because that's usually the wave that the concert player is going to want to push at, right? Because
Yeah.
your unit is naturally very strong on it. You usually add some other, whether it's garbage or not, units that can just tank for the concert. So if there was no full send, Dark Quacker cannot be 8 workies here, and he's potentially in danger of leaking later. So
This Robo goes onto the Whirly Bird. Could be a very dead Whirly Bird, and then a reasonably sized leak, I think.
Yeah. Very fast game so far, though. We've got 2 players on 8 workers, 2 players on 7, and let's see if Drakir pays
Yeah.
for his 8 worker here, because there is a full send coming out with the Robert and the Snail. It looks like a very perfect tank, though, with the Whirly Bird staying alive as long as possible. Still 63% leak there for him. Now we pop
Oh,
back over
beautiful
to Dark
Fiesta.
Quacker. Yeah, really
What
nice
a
Fiesta
beast.
there. Really nice, 33%.
And now he has to just chill here, not push, and take the next send. He's just going for
Oh,
Robo
but
spam.
guys, look, the Quack abusers have broken the Secret Agent's unblemished
Let's
King
go.
record so far. First blood here going to the side of Quack abusers, 5%
full
damage.
sends
Yeah.
everywhere.
yeah.
Wait, is this a good idea? I have.
Oh,
This sounds
Wow.
like something horrible could happen, but I don't know how good this unit is.
I think it's
this boss is going here. The brute is going straight onto this thing.
yeah, but
think
doesn't it
this
just follow the wave?
It's going to solo the wave, yeah, it is,
Okay.
absolutely.
Let's have luck.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy though. Full sends all around, so there could be a lot of leaks going on here. Slickens looks super solid though, so he
I
should
just
not
wanna
be
watch
like
this thing
too
pop
shitty.
off, guys. Like,
It does have that damage issue.
Yeah, sort of. Maybe this should have been a Seraphim with the Wanderer.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he didn't
But-
want Seraphim because it wasn't tanking the boss, but
Yeah, sure, but that's still 400.
it just solos the wave, right, guys? It literally can't die.
it literally can't die.
Right,
Cast
guys?
the curse.
Died.
Looks like Drac is the only one holding with that Sea Dragon. Everyone else taking some king damage, and there's no Kingsguard this game. Pretty favorable trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Drakir is going to be able to cover as well, because although he did leak the Scorpion King, it was super low HP there.
Yeah, that is a pretty bad lead.
Oh yeah.
It's like he has very good unit. He probably still has to go Seraphim even if it's not tanking. Like he just legit has no damage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
his
think
only
so.
DPS unit. You need to kill the Scorpion King, right?
And you have
That
so
is
much
the point.
fortified anyway, so I think it's okay to not have the splitting Seraphim here.
Yeah. Also, they could Atrocity have just got Green Devil. They've been fine there, or am I crazy?
I'm not sure if fine is what I would call it, but I think it, it kills the boss, which is what you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I respect the cook though. Like he had to see. He had to sandbox in the Nova Cup game.
Oh yeah. I think I did that once and it went better, but I think I killed the boss, and I think that's probably what the difference is. Or actually, the difference would be if the brute hasn't gone on the Oathbreaker final form.
If you go even split there, so the boss goes on the Oathbreaker, I can see that being pretty good. But...
Yeah. Exactly. I think that's what needs to happen. But anyway, we have some Mythium stockpiling on the side of almost all players, but Slickins and Darkwacker pulled out the brutes. So is there anything that can happen?
Isn't this like turbo holding?
Yeah, I think this is like extremely mega turbo biz holding, actually.
I think he's going to pull a lot to the right, maybe both brutes and like 3/4 of the wave, because this is a range unit
is
and it's
really high
spread out.
split.
But obviously this unit is just very easily tanking everything on the left.
It literally can't die. He has 2 units who literally can't die.
Yeah.
I think this is just too many 2024 introduced units to leak to double brute turbo instead.
He even has very nice positioning for his archer.
Wait,
And
literally dying? Hello?
Oh,
Jules?
No.
I think it's literally
needs a buff.
smacking the wave.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
Luckily,
Meanwhile,
the backup guy's here.
Oh, he's doing pretty well as well.
Yeah. He has that Badger with that Sea Dragon, and when you're on value with like Badger plus Sea Dragon, like it is very hard to kill. And it looks like the brutes disappeared, so that's also helpful.
Wow, this is a really good trade now for Drakeer and Atrocity, right? It's like things are starting to look a bit rough for the Quack abusers.
Very, very bad. And Atrocity barely got to Ogre and Income. Which is kind of a crazy send when the guy shows you Zerker, but yeah, it's probably the best thing he had.
Yeah, what would
I mean, maybe brutes are better, to be honest, so you don't have the single ramp of the Zerker, but
sure,
it's gonna work, I would guess.
At the same time, if you send brutes and he upgrades the casket, which obviously you can't know, and maybe he adds, I don't know, another Tempest, maybe he kills them too fast. I don't know. I mean,
he got the 200. He probably just had
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what can you do?
What I wanted to say. You see the Ogre, you press the Ogre button, I think.
Good job, Bikebacker, adjusting his split to the left so that you can actually focus this thing, but the casket is not casting on the wave. It is going to be a turbo leak.
Oh, massive, yeah. Crucially, the Ogre was able to kill the casket before it cast a single spell on the wave, so as a result, that's a 75% leak for him. Mr. Slickins, though, is he Mr. Waldo? He is not. He is going to be able to hold his wave and even cover some in the mid as well.
Oh, that's cover-wise.
Good job.
Yeah, but
at
the same time, that was income sent from Drakeer on Mr. Slickins.
I mean, that's just a very classic Drakeer play. He just never copes sense. Like, he just always goes Income King when he thinks that someone is covering for his main.
Oh, yeah. That's something I need to learn myself, so... Study Drakeer.
Even more king damage going to the side of the secret agents, and they are just in a really good position here. Jules is saying 23% win chance for the Quack abusers, and guys, remember, they are already 1-0 down in this best of 3, so they need 1, 2, 3 of those miracles, fake one, to come back into this one, because, you know, if things carry on like this, they are out of this tournament.
I think
does have that castle power score, but he's Fiesta.
Yeah, I think that's also a great team name for next month, Nova. Miracle Dealers. In the meantime, though, I have a question for you guys, because one of the things that I love to do is when I see, oh yeah, that's leaking very, very hard. I've seen this somewhere. Darkwacker not respecting the Wave 9 recent. That's going to be potentially a bigger leak than last wave, actually.
He has no good units on this wave, so yeah.
I mean, what do you mean? There's a buckler.
That is true. He did add a buckler.
There's 2 bucklers, actually. Yeah. What are you saying of them?
But now, this was a cope brute. But,
that was a cope brute, yeah. He probably assumed that Slickins would, like, build for nothing.
I think we're allowed 1 cope brute per game.
What was your question, my friend? I was excited.
So what I wanted to ask you is, because I like to look at the game from the losing team POV, because that's usually the more interesting POV. It's also, sometimes it's also easier POV, because, you know, you have a weak wave and you want to build around it, and like the winning team sometimes has a harder job at cracking the enemy defense, if obviously there's no like good wave to break them. But what would you say is the win condition for Slickens' Quacker? And because their win percentage looks super sus, Quacker's build looks extremely sus on wave 11 against Giant Snails, which is potentially what could land on his board. So is it just try and survive 11 and maybe then cringe your wave to 13 because the enemy is showing Trinity Archer, 2 Mega Breakies, Drakir has a Kingpin, so is that your plan? Save your 11, whip out the LOD, you know?
I
Yeah.
was actually thinking Giant Snails is really good against Drakir on wave 11 as well, right? So that could be an angle. Quacker has a lot of workers, he has a decent chunk of Mythium as well. However, like you say, Atrocity pretty good on 11 with this double Giga Breaker.
And you need to not die here.
Yeah, 11 is kind of forced from Slickens and Quacker.
Oh.
Like, they just overpush for it, so they are going to do their Giant Snails. Everyone going for some Giant Snails.
Quacker surely has to just pick Savior now, right? Because he already sent income, so...
Maybe he's thinking about the Glacial Touch, but I think Savior is just too good here.
Probably worth more.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, he does take the Savior. That gives him the Leviathan as well. I think this was his best line. He's still 400 undervalue, though. And, yeah, this could be pretty dangerous now. We do have a Stim here from Slickens, so he's obviously full holding. And meanwhile...
Oh, and the Seraphine?
Oh, and the Seraphine, yeah. Infinite magic damage, come on.
So let's see what happens. By the way, the Stim...
not that good against Giant Snail, but...
Yeah, exactly. That's the worst thing that can happen. But fortunately for Mr. Slickens, he kills the left side fairly quickly. How is Quacker doing? Not extremely great, and this Trinity Archer is living way too long in Atrocity's lane.
He's actually doing really well here. I think he got absolute Biss aggro because the Four Eyes just focused this thing, while these things took forever to tank the wave.
Oh, and such pain on the Witch as well. Look at that.
Oh no!
It lives.
The veteran isn't helping. Ouch. 52% leak there for Slickens. How much was Quacker's? That was 100% for Quacker. Cheeky little fiesta there for him. He did at least get a few king upgrades, but they're taking a bunch of damage here, wave 11.
Yeah, it's a rough spot. He needs that Savior to come in again.
Yeah. And...
wow, that's a lot of damage. Holy.
So what do you do here? Once again, my question. Is it full push 13, I don't know, try an undercut? Because obviously both of those boards look fairly sus on 14, so... Yeah. Is that the play?
I mean, look, we're kind of cheating. We can see what everybody's doing, so we can see that Atrocity and Drakir are both shifting a ton of gold. They both have really good answers for 13. They have Phoenix for Drakir, and of course Sovereign for Atrocity, so they're never leaking 13. In which case, I guess probably the best line for Slickens and Quacker would be 15, I suppose, where Quacker is strong with that Lord of Death and the casket tank value, and Atrocity and Drakir looking potentially a bit weak, but I don't know, man. They're just already so far behind economically that any play just becomes a bit of a hope and a prayer.
I mean, Drak and Atrocity are definitely going 14, so you have to either be able... I mean, like, if you want the game to just keep going, then probably can just income king there and try and hold. But in terms of actually winning the game, I mean, if you drag this out late enough, you have better rolls on 20. So maybe that's what you can play for.
True.
Like we do actually have turbo late game rolls on the right team.
True, but you just need to get there. It's the easy part, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you can do the... they probably push a little too much, but like you could just legit no push and then just income king whenever you think you're getting a send, but that also does have a very...
Wait, that's not ideal, right? That's really not ideal. Obviously, maybe they're scared of the values.
He has no arcane though, or well, he has vets, I guess, but yeah, it's rough for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And there's actually an opening on track maybe here, because he built the Phoenix, he has the Lifebinder, obviously there's a Sun Badger that's going to become an Iron Scales, so that's a very good tank value, but maybe there's an angle to leak
He's going for the Mimics. It is going to be full sense. I mean, they're probably just dead if I were to say.
Yeah, they're going to be so undervalued, right, for Slickens and Quacker here.
Yeah.
There is no way they're holding.
Yeah, I don't see it.
Yeah, There just look at Slicken's board. There's literally not a good unit for this wave, unless
We-
you count
We
the.
have the Harbingers.
Sure, but how long are those going to live? Okay, I bet you they're not getting second spawns.
I mean, they're on Starcaller. Like
That's true. That's true.
Surely it's a second spawn.
Sure.
And this Starcaller veteran is just going to
Yeah, I
pop
mean,
off,
The
right?
guy's he's just stimming throughout the wave, right?
I think
That's
you
how it works?
stem the vet, the boosted vet, just for fancy points.
For the
Okay,
memes.
is there a second spawn? Is
Ah,
oh easily a second spawn. I was
okay.
mistaken.
Clearing
I
up
was
the left-hand side. You were just joking.
unfamiliar with.
Oh, the Starcaller is dying though.
There could be a
Okay.
third spawn on this one.
There is a third spawn.
Beautiful.
What a beast!
Doesn't do much though.
Oh, it's-
109% leap for Slickins, 123 for Quacker, and with 48% HP remaining, I think this series is donezo.
GG's.
So yeah, that looks like a series to me. Definitely. Drakir and Atrocity continue to impress. That's just beautiful gameplay on their side, and Slick and Quacker, a mistake here and there, and that's where you end up, I guess, versus players who don't really make a lot of them. At least not this Nova Cup.
Yeah. This second game was a lot more one-sided actually than the first one. Like they at least made them sweat a bit in the first game, took it all the way to wave 19. Here though, in this game, wave 15 victory. I mean, sure, they actually took some damage on the king of Atrocity and Drakir, which is a first on wave 4. But other than that, they didn't take any more damage past wave 4. And yeah, it was a pretty one-sided game. I think they were so far ahead economically. Like, just by wave 10 already, they're, what, 100 gold, 200 gold ahead of their opponents. So like 300 net worth as a team ahead by wave 10. It's a bit of a doomer there for Slickins and Quacker, and unfortunately those guys are out of the tournament as a result, so a 2-0 in quick fashion once again from Drakir and Atrocity, proving that this is a team to be afraid of, I think.
Absolutely, and I want to put your guys' attention towards that wave 11 again, because as you can probably remember, I asked you about what's the plan for this game, this particular game, and even though obviously Drakir and Atrocity had wave 13 answers, and they would probably be able to do fairly well on 13, but the initial suggestion on my side was try and cringe, maybe go a bit longer, income on 11, try to hold, and then try to go 13, and imagine if Slickens doesn't cope full into Atrocity, and I will say cope full because that was 340 Mythium and a 4 and 3 creeps going through, so that's not really great. But if he goes for Savior, I think he actually holds wave 11, maybe covers just a tiny bit on the side of Dark Quacker's League, and maybe then the 13 play could have come through. Maybe that would have made just a tiny bit of difference, but instead he went onto the aggressive play, and that ended up biting him.
Possibly, and a line they can take, like you say, is go for the defensive play, fall for both, pop a few king upgrades as well, because remember that's going to serve them better later on in the game as well. You know, when they had those leaks go through, if they did have a slightly stronger king, they're going to take less damage, and maybe they can survive that send there on 15 as well, right? But yeah, unfortunately not to be. Slickins and Quacker, they couldn't find the line. To be fair, they were in a very tough position. Like, it's really hard to spot those out when you are in, what did Jules say? They had like a 15% chance to win the game or something from pretty early on. And yeah, it's really difficult to spot the lines. When you do, fair play, respect to those gamers who can see the outs when they're there, the low percentage plays. But I can't fault Quacker and Slickins for not finding their outs this time around, because they were threading a needle, I think, to try and come back into this game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it wasn't even a line. I don't even think this was a winning line. I think it was just try and do something line.
It's more of a like elongate the game line.
Yeah.
In which
and
case,
try to
maybe their winning play was like take the game to wave 20, like Offner said, right? Because they both had Fatalizers in their role. They both had Starcaller Disciples, I think, for Slickins, right? So maybe wave 20 is their out. They can't know that, though. They don't know that the opponent doesn't also have a Fatalizer, a Starcaller, a Halo, something like that. But as far as we can see, maybe that was their best way to win this one. Just elongate the game, just refuse to die and take it to 20. But yeah, even that is a pretty long shot, I think, at this stage.
Yeah, because it's not like your opponents have to just sit there and do exactly what you want when you have no workers.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they have to also mess up, because if they just play for their strong waves, then the game is a lot harder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a team the caliber
But
of the Secret Agents are not going to be making those mistakes, right? They're not going to allow their
Yeah.
opponents who are already under their foot to dictate the pace of the game, right? They are going to maintain that pressure and not give them like a single millimeter to breathe and come back into the game. And we saw it
For
here.
sure.
They closed it out in pretty clinical fashion. So Drakir and Atrocity, really, really scary so far this tournament. We did at least see Quacker and Slickins take some of their King HP, so they're no longer unblemished. But man, this team is going to be very, very difficult to beat in the final.
oh, absolutely, and we already have the finalists on both sides as Double Penetration. What a name! Beat the No Greed Balls Feed team 2-0. So
Okay.
that's going to be Secret Agents versus Double Penetration, which I believe are the two highest seeded teams for this month.
Oh, very
Yeah.
interesting.
Of
I
the
think
teams who
that's.
checked in, definitely they are the two
Oh
highest.
yeah. Because there's a team that shall become unnamed on this broadcast that has not checked in time.
That was such a shame, by the way, for King Dance and
Yeah,
Aviator to miss the check-in, because that would have been a pretty pog team to watch as well, I think.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely. Aviator has been tearing it on the ladder lately, so
Yeah.
I actually really wanted to see him in the tournament. I mean, I didn't when I was playing, but now that I'm casting, I would have loved to see him play. So yeah. But this is going to be a very interesting matchup for the finals. I think two of the probably favorite teams to make it to the final beforehand, before the tournament started. But this year's Novas have been pretty crazy with a lot of
A lot of
sort of
upsets. Yeah.
upsets and teams that I don't want to say shouldn't have been there, but teams that were definitely a surprise in the finals. And this month
Yeah,
sort of
teams you
breaks.
wouldn't have expected to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And this month is sort of a break point to that rule.
This might actually be the first Nova Cup of the year where we've had the two highest seeds in the final.
Yeah,
Possibly.
I think so.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of knockouts, right? Like Drakira and Lucy were knocked out on day one last month and stuff like that. I think we've seen King Dans and Widdowson knocked out on day one a couple of times as well. And yeah, there have been a lot of upsets, a lot of underdog victories, a lot of interesting stories just to keep us all on our toes, which has been fantastic viewing, right? So keep it up. But all that said, it's a nice change of pace, I guess, to have the two favoured teams in the final.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see them go. Especially like a lot of those players are just super versatile. I think Drakir Atrocity players who can do a lot of different things, especially Drakir, I would say, is a player that can do a lot of different things in the game and sort of adjust to the masterminds, to the position in the game. I think Sagittarius has gotten so much better at it as a
Definitely,
player
yeah.
as well. So I think this should be, you know, a cinema type of beat final, and I really am longing for it.
Awesome. Okay, guys, on that note, I think we should have a little bit of a break. The players, clearly having finished their best of three series, need a bit of relaxation, and for ourselves as well, we should have maybe 5-10 minutes and then get the next game started, the grand final, in about 10 minutes' time. So, Twitch chat, don't go anywhere. This is going to be a banger of a grand final series. We will be right back in around 10 minutes' time. Right.
Never toss it.
Let your eyes be opened.
Welcome back, Twitch chat. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are ready for a grand final here for the August Nova Cup. It is, of course, the Secret Agents, Drakir and Atrocity going up against the aptly named Double Penetration of Sagittarius and Johnny C. Now, guys, a bit of a story about Johnny C. So whenever we used to face him on the ladder, either myself and Green Spirit or Julian, we would always call him the Fiesta God Yoni C, because the guy was just like, he was inside your brain the entire time. He's always playing Fiesta. You snail him, he holds. You don't snail him, he leaks. You send him full, he's overbuilt. You send him income, he's giga greeding. And this guy was just always making the right calls, no matter what we tried against him, and cleaning up. And I think he must have had like 80-90% win rate against us on the ladder for a little while there. So Fiesta God Yoni C, I'm very interested to see whether he can make those reads against Drakir and Atrocity as well, or will these guys just continue their domination of this month's cup? What do you think?
I mean, it's worth noting that Johnny and Sagi have made the previous Nova semifinals as well, where they lost to King and Wither, and they have been doing very, very well up to that point. I think they had a few closer games, but at the end of it, I think it was Johnny C actually carrying one of the games on Fiesta, and he actually played super well with one of the other masterminds. I'm not sure. I think probably was Chaos because
Chaos,
of
right,
what he
yeah,
likes. But he was playing very well last Nova, so I'm very excited to see him this Nova. But as you said before, he's sort of the Fiesta God type of player, but you can only play Fiesta actually twice in a best of 5 if you Mega Mind it.
You gotta Mega Mind it, right?
Yeah, that may not happen, right?
No, sure. But when he gets his way with Fiesta, he is a dangerous player, and I just love to see if he goes for that maybe early on. We could see a Cartel Fiesta pretty, out of the bat, because it is something that he's known for and something he plays very, very well. But as you say, he's really good on Chaos as well, right? So he might go for something like that, and it might come down to what the Legion spells are, right? Because something like Fiesta Cartel works really well in a game with aggressive Legion spells, because you plan to be really ahead in the early game and then just try to close it out before the downsides can kick in. So like an all-out assault or something, just snowball the early game, win on wave 11 or 12. On the flip side, if there's only like eco spells, like investment, allowance, venture, stuff like that, then like Castle and Chaos is a really good pairing, because you're not going to have this 500 Mythium send on 11. You might just go for income and venture and something like that, and then those late game masterminds, Castle, Chaos, can really, really shine with this. So it'd be interesting to see whether that's what they play around, or just which direction these guys go in, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. It could be, 5 games. Well, hopefully 5 games, but to win a best of 5, you do need to show 3 masterminds. So, we're probably gonna see everything. Gotta see your whole bag.
Yeah.
And, not sure if Johnny C has that 3rd mastermind option, but I'm excited to see what he's gonna choose if we get.
And there's also a conflict in their team. Not that formal emotional conflict, but they have a conflict of masterminds, because Sagittarius obviously known to play Cartel, and that's by far his main mastermind. Lovely for the Cartel Fiesta, take me there, but probably his second best mastermind is Chaos. So if you have 2 players that like Chaos as their backup mastermind, one of them will have to say pass, and then what happens, I need to know. But the flavor of the month for a lot of players has been random lock-ins, so maybe we see that coming with the 5 games potentially. That's something I'm looking forward to. That's always fun.
Yeah, they might even go for like a Megamind early, right? Hoping that they can land on Chaos or Fiesta or Cartel, and then they don't need to worry about losing their like trademark masterminds, and they can go for something like that. Now, this is something I need to remember, by the way. When we are on a loading screen with Yoni C, we can pad like crazy, because this guy is like playing on a Casio or something, I'm sure, man. But guys, okay, it looks like Yoni C has finally woken up his hamster and managed to load into the game. So here we are, game number 1 of this Nova Cup grand final, in fact. Secret Agents Double Penetration. Let's go.
Looks like they're saving the Fiesta for
there's no Fiesta.
Cartel.
There is a Chaos, though. Chaos Cartel for Sagittarius and Yoni C.
YOLO. Absolute beast. I mean, that yellow roll's pretty solid.
Yeah, very playable. Very playable. I might
Little
be
low on the
tempted for
DPS.
Drakir to re-roll wave 1 though, just to
Yeah.
find like a tier 1 or something.
Agreed.
Like maybe you place the banker and then re-roll, something like that.
You do something like start Badger.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, that's an
Oh,
option
Grawl
here.
Egg.
Do you really want to go Grawl Egg in a game with overwork counterattack? Where that early income might be.
I mean, the egg is just like the best tank in the game, right? So if you do have a fully stacked Hydra, it's going to serve you pretty well on wave 11, I think.
I guess it depends on if you think Johnny's playing Fiesta the first.
That's exactly what I meant, right? Like you see
sure.
those options and
Yeah,
you sort of anticipate Johnny to go Fiesta. At least I would.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they just know. Maybe they're just knowers. That's
Yeah, we'll
two
see.
defensive options for Drakir and Atrocity. Interesting.
Yeah, interesting.
Is that
interesting.
Grawl Egg?
And he is going for the double wanker as well. So Drakir's just going to play Giga on value with this opener. Atrocity obviously playing Giga on value with his egg opener. And I mean, the positive is that Johnny C is not playing Fiesta here, right? Because that could have punished them straight off the bat with a really long wave while they're both super long workers, and then adding the pressure onto the egg player as well. So it's pretty winning the mastermind selection so far, I think.
Yeah, they are fighting Professor Chaos this game.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Saji with one of his favorite starts. He loves this Spectral Scallywag. He opens this way too often, I think. Like he just really likes the unit, I guess. But we see the egg come out. We have the double bunker. So that's like a lot of, value generating units. I mean, the bunkers over the time, the egg over 2 waves.
Mhm.
That's going to be interesting to see if Saji and Johnny could do something here. Is this going to be an after income robo into both lanes, trying to, get 2 birds with 1 stone, get the link in 1 wave lane? Wait,
This
a
is
snail?
bizarre. This was a post-income snail here from Drakir. So he's causing a long wave while they're playing egg sack and double banker. This doesn't
Why?
seem correct to me.
Are you?
Unless Atrocity just like that's one of his units just guaranteed ult here.
I mean,
Not against 60, right? Or I guess he has the Serpent. Is that
Serpent-
enough against Robo?
yeah, I'm not sure. And at the same time, Drakir doesn't have a premium option for wave 3. It's an infiltrator, which is sure some damage, but it's not the greatest tank, and certainly the bunkers aren't. So
And he's getting.
He's getting
80?
60.
Yeah, he's getting 80.
Yeah. The other thing is he can't afford a split, right? So he can add an infiltrator and
Yeah.
he can just shift 30 gold because he didn't re-roll on 1. He doesn't have a tier 1.
And Sagittarius didn't even go for a leak, he just goes DT King up.
Oh, he did re-roll here on 3 though, and is
What a
Giga rewarded
beast.
with this Treant. What a beast.
okay, that sort of brings them back because I think this should probably hold. Although the Fiend is still a very, very pesky send versus this.
Oh,
Yeah,
for sure.
full impact.
Interestingly, Sagittarius just went for income here, so not even
Yeah.
trying to break the egg.
Maybe he realized that the egg was placed very low suspiciously
Yeah.
and thought it's Serpent for sure.
I mean, that's a good read if so, right? Oh, this is
Oh
just
my God.
beautiful here from Drakir.
Wait,
Holy.
aren't they both dead still? Or...
Wait, is the X surviving?
Drakir is definitely dead, yeah.
Oh my god,
The
this
egg
is a
can never
magic
kill this
dude.
dragon turtle,
Wait,
right?
what-
The
what
DT is just
happened
going to make
the
it through.
Coiler?
Uh-oh.
The Coiler overtanked. So if you did not see this, it was tanking like almost half of the wave. It was very, very weird.
Yeah, I guess
And-
it's a third
Oh,
build,
and
too.
the deck dies. This is
It's a
and
disaster.
this is all the snail diff. By the way, this is all the snail diff. Because if there's no snail, there's no fiend. That was very unfortunate from Drakir, I think.
Yeah. Well, this is definitely the start that double penetration were looking for, right?
Oh, absolutely.
They certainly living up
Yeah.
to their name there, getting through both lanes in wave 3.
Does have that 8 orcers on the Johnny side, which is pretty good.
By the way, Chaos board.
Yeah, he does have all the juice.
Yeah, that looks handpicked.
Typical Chaos player, right? Perfect units every wave. Oh, this is even
That's right.
beautiful tanking here for Johnny C. Look at this. All of his units split tanking very, very nicely. Seraphim dishing out the deeps while the casket... Does it get another spell? It does! Oh my god, this is perfect aggro for Johnny C.
Absolute
And that's
beast.
gold.
Wow. Anything less than perfect, he could have leaked really badly there. Minus 80 value here.
And he's going for that brute into Drac, who is plus 70.
Yeah.
The Ashton tech would be to go big banker on wave 5.
Yeah, that's what he likes. But I don't think Drac's gold was looking very nice for it.
No. He didn't have the gold. And also, you usually want one of your bankers alive for wave 5, because then he's full stacks, and then you just get the... And Drakir, since his bankers died on wave 1, it's sort of less worth to do that.
True.
For sure.
But yeah, I think Ashton, talking about the bankers, Ashton is probably the player who has popularized them, like in the second wave of bankers, because at the start, obviously, there was a lot of tweaking with it, a lot of different approaches, and I think nowadays it's sort of like the Ashton thing. I see him play it a lot, and he's actually been killing it with it.
I mean, he's been killing in general, right? Since his return, Ashton,
Oh yeah,
like,
true.
took him a minute to get back into the swing of things, and then he's just been crushing the ladder. That guy's a beast.
The king.
But that's going to be the big wig now.
Yeah. Oh, this is the juicer. Drakir
Oh,
plus
yeah.
130, fast and aggressive, just the way he likes it.
But look at the income situation. He's at the moment, because the enemy is saving, his income is very, very nice, and he's gonna get a lot of gold from the bankers as well. So this is and let me like start a small run segment. I hate the unit because of one reason, and one reason only. It's just so non-interactive because
Yeah.
of how the game works.
Yeah.
The player, the player that the banker player is sending into is supposed to, in theory, push more, because you're getting sent by a banker player who's not pushing workies. But in reality, what you want to do is have the player that's sending into the banker push.
Right. Right.
Which is like very counterintuitive.
Yep.
And that just sort of makes the playstyle toxic. So Drakir mega chilling over value, and there's not much Johnny can do when being skipped, which is happening now. Let's see what happens later.
And the other thing with like the Burt change, right? So Johnny C basically is getting punished by Drakir's decision to play bankers, because he just can't farm leak gold, right? So even if Sagittarius does push hard, manages to leak Atrocity a few times, Johnny is just going to be missing out on that juicy Burt gold because of how the game mechanics work now.
And there's a simple solution, in my opinion, which is have the banker give additional gold to the leaker. So then maybe you can see, I don't know, some crazy super pushing or something that
Okay.
incentivizes pushing as the
Interesting.
player.
Yeah. So
And it doesn't even have to be related to the amount of gold that banker gives. You don't have to, have it, I don't know, the third of the gold the banker would have given. But is Drakir killing his bankers just for fun?
he is. So he got an income send. One of them died pretty early on. The second one is just barely surviving, but it isn't surviving
It's
this,
dead.
though.
It's that. That's
He's
not
plus
good.
120, by the way, on Drakir, losing one of his wankers to the Cannoneer King Up, and the second one is definitely going down here. There's no way he can cover against this leak from Atrocity, and yeah, even a little bit of King damage. So again, double penetration looks like are giving the Secret Agents their toughest match of the tournament so far.
Yeah, for sure. This is probably the worst early game that I've seen.
Especially considering Sagittarius' position. He has the juice in the form of Treant Spectral Scallywag. Not as strong on wave 8 as you might think. By the way, it was Sagittarius in that game as well, and he leaked over 50%. So
Well,
now,
let's see how he does against Mr. Snail.
if he leaks here, this is going to be the most hilarious thing in the world. But I don't think it's going to happen.
No, I mean,
Right?
he's
Surely
about
it doesn't
100 value higher than he was in that game that we saw the other time.
Yeah. Surely it doesn't happen. But maybe if Drakir's in full here.
There was a full send into Drakir, though. He's only plus 100 here. We saw him basically
pretty
looking
risky.
plus 120 last wave. The Wanker, though, tanks really
It's
nicely there. Will it tank
fine,
anything?
right?
Oh, this one's going
Yeah.
down for
This
sure.
looked like a leak to me.
Yeah, that's a plus 100 leak from Drakir. He's having a bit of a rough one this game, it seems. Double penetration do seem to have his number.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
with Sagittarius pushed as hard as is, it's very unfortunate because he's chilling on 14 workies. Like, sure, Drakir is saving his Mythium, but realistically, if you're leaking all the time and the 14 workies player can just, pump up those income sends one after another, It's unlikely that Drakir is going to be able to leak him with the amount of
Yeah.
work he has.
And Sagittarius, right, he looks really weak on wave 9, sorry, but he has options. He can drop a Millennium, he can drop a Boom Tree, and just do pretty fine, I think. However, Drakir is saving his Mythium once again.
He's Sendent.
He's Sendent. He's going to go for 10, I guess, into Sagittarius. He might even go, like, he's having a bit of a Doom game. What if he just goes
Yeah.
Overwork 11 or 12?
Yeah, GK is looking pretty good against this build.
Yeah.
And Sagittarius doesn't have a reroll, because I wanted to say that going 11 is always kind of scary when there's sack in the game and potential high gold giving units could be sold, but there's really nothing to sell for here
Yeah.
for Sagittarius.
Yeah, he can sack for a Doomsday, I guess, might be his best play in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. If
If
that's your
Drakir-
best play on 11, then
If Drakir does decide to go for like a 11-12 overwork play though, he's so committed. Look at these income numbers. He has literally half the income compared to Johnny C.
and he's leaking.
And he's leaking
Again.
to Cannoneer King Ups, yeah. Wow. This is the worst game I think we've seen for Drakir so far this month. This is a pretty rough spot that he finds himself in.
Yeah, for sure.
You just say body or logo next if you're Drakir
Okay.
to save your mental.
He does go for a wave 10 though, so he doesn't feel like he can save one more wave. And the GK is still looking pretty deadly
they
here on
skip?
10. Double Millennium as well. He's
Oh, that's
so like...
not very good versus that
No,
Patrick guy.
it's not. Can he ever kill it?
You
Actually?
have the gangster. I'm
Yeah,
not
that
sure about
double
this
gangster
ogre
is good.
send. I feel like I would have just liked full brutes, especially
That-
since the other tanks aren't even like ogreable.
Right.
Yeah, true. But to be fair, double Ganger is not that good on 10 because it sometimes just doesn't have the time to ramp up, right? So maybe this is the case of that. It definitely will not cover the leak that I think will happen in Sagittarius' lane. So it's
Yeah.
Wait, is this thing bugged? It's supposed to reduce damage by 3, but only 2 against bosses. It's reducing damage by 2 on everything. Jules?
And that's a leak. Yeah. So that's unfortunate.
Well-
I think skipping here was interesting, but at the same time they have the overwork
Yeah.
crazy play, right? Because now they can
Right.
push. They already
Yeah.
have
But-
over 200 mythium both.
The
Well,
thing is,
crucially,
if they try
they saved their
overwork
brutes,
12,
right? They have been
they can get
stockpiling their
overwork
brutes.
11.
Oh, here it comes. Here's the
There's another
Robos. Let's go. Drakir actually getting some bigwig gold for the first time this game.
I think he's about to disappear one of his bigwigs.
Yeah. Probably the best use for them anyway, considering how the game went. But I think Atrocity chances of holding are could be. I don't want to say are, but could be good.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a mistake. He probably expects a big tank send, like I assume a GK is what he expects, and this is the reasoning for the Arc of Justice.
Yeah,
But
that
he
makes
can't
sense.
know that the GK is not coming, because if there was no GK, the Leviathan Void Manta play would have been beautiful here. The Manta on 11 is so obscenely, absurdly powerful.
Oh, for sure. Like, if you have a few of them, they just completely negate the wave's damage, right?
Yeah.
I mean, at least he's not that weak against 4-Eye, considering it's only a Hydra and no other tanks.
Atrocity is doing extremely well. Is this just a hold? He needs to be able to kill this 4-Eyes before it kills the Arc, of course.
Think so,
Well,
but it's not too
He
bad.
won't focus the
Aim for
4-Eyes, so I
drag.
guess he will leak. Drakir's leaking massively, though. That's 71% for Atrocity, 63% for Drakir. He actually did even better, but they're going to be losing a decent chunk of King HP here. And what's more, a really
Yeah.
long wave for the Overwork team.
Yeah, and there's
Yeah.
probably not an angle for a resend into Atrocity. I don't think, at least, but I think Drakir maybe could get resent. But I think at the end of it, it's just so much more worth to go long now, right?
Yeah.
Johnny C and Sagittarius, they have the upper hand, they have the advantage. They have very good rolls for 13 and 14, and I think they have successfully prevented 12 from happening, which maybe could have been a problem for Sagittarius otherwise.
Right.
So now I think they're just mega chilling with the amount of Mythium they have. Due to the overwork, that's going to be so much higher than your opponents. You're also on higher workies than your opponents. This to me looks like a win for double penetration.
Yeah, their income is really good as well, right? Like, even the Cartel player is quite comfortably ahead in terms of income compared to Drakir, who, as we know, has had a bit of a rough game, and Johnny C is just miles ahead there. 50 more income than anybody else in the game, so that's a free worky every single round for him.
Yep.
And his board is only gonna get better, right? Because he's Chaos. So
Yeah.
he already has one aura down with a very solid set of units around it. Like having OT with tanks, knowing that 14 and 15 are approaching, beautiful. I'll take it anyway, any day of the week. And at the same time, you see in Drakir's lane a very sus Millennium positioning that is not going to be tanking super well on
Right.
14 and 15
Yeah, yeah.
potentially, which if you're in this losing sort of position, you want to, get the most out of your units as you potentially can. So we'd rather have the Millennium tank as much as it can, and it's not going to happen. So there's like a lot of good stuff that's happening for Saji and Johnny.
I think this Millennium actually just never tanks for the banker. I could be wrong, but I think the big wig just runs in front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It only has 50 less range, so I think it just always runs in front. But maybe that's why Drakir has his Treant here, knowing that that's the case.
Well, he had it there for 11 to
Yep.
save
Okay.
the big wig and drag the split left, but yeah, kind of screws up his positioning for the rest of the game.
Is it just sell the Treant angle?
He may have to at some point, but the
maybe
big wig
not
is going
here.
to tank, right? So maybe he just needs to keep it there.
I don't know. Saves all around. Look at the Mythium amounts, guys.
Yeah.
Over 500 for both Johnny and Saji
Yeah.
and
their
Drakir
work
and
lead is
Chomsky.
really starting to show now, right, Fake? So they have, what is it, nearly 10 more workers on both of them compared to Drakir and Atrocity. They have a bunch more Mythium, like 200 more Johnny C compared to Drakir. And again, that income, every single wave, their advantage is just growing and growing and growing. And the secret agents really have a battle.
Sure, but at the same time, there's one saving grace, I think, for Drakir and Atrocity, which is Johnny C and Sagittarius are, I think, running out of time in terms of when they have to send, so they will likely go here. And yeah, we see the sends come out. And Drakir and Atrocity are sort of comfortably overbuilt for this wave. Drakir's board, not the greatest, but he has the Iron Maiden. He can pop some Infiltrators, Orchids, boosts. Maybe he can do well. And Atrocity has the Mantas, nice as well, but lacking that tankage for the units. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's going to be pretty hard to hold.
Well, the Void Manta is arcane, so maybe it's its own tank, right? Copium?
Sure,
Right.
Copium.
We might just be disgusted here by this Void Manta. I'd be interested to see whether its thing actually bounces onto the wave, or if the tanks are going to counter that nicely.
Yeah, he's going
Yeah,
to have
we'll see.
an issue with the Kraken, right?
Let's have a look. It's going to take him a while to kill it, but he has got a Kraken Buster right here.
Well, that's pretty lovely.
Currently ignoring the Kraken completely. First Void
Now
Manta
it's
goes
okay.
down. Second Void Manta goes down. Okay, he looks like he's getting overrun a little bit there for AA Atrocity. Drakir, of course, is leaking heavily. Sagittarius, though, 120% leak. However, Johnny C kind of beasting over here. We do get both players leaking nicely. In fact, is this just a king race, guys? We've got big leaks all around.
Yeah, well,
If Atrocity and Drakir can live, that is.
Yeah, they've got a lot more king upgrades on the side of the secret agents.
Yep.
This
This
is
could
close,
be a
guys. This
steal.
is closer than I thought it might be. They leave!
For a lot-
The agents
wow,
leave
what?
and they win!
Oh my god!
Holy moly.
Drake did one king attack on 15 and saved them. Or 2 king attacks and saved them.
Jesus. That was, wow.
The king.
Just look at this win graph, guys. Like, they're behind the entire game. It goes up to like a 63% win rate there that they had. No, 73% win rate they had on Wave 10. And they still managed to int this one away. Wow, that was wild.
Oh, yeah, I just noticed that Johnny said the Kraken was like really good, and then he changed it to, he sent a GK to the left, so the Orchids just used their shurikens
Oh, they just
until the
dominated
GK in
it?
2 seconds.
Yeah, wow.
And I think the Sen versus Atrocity, I mean, I haven't played against Warpling, so I have no idea, but I'm pretty sure you need to send damage versus this build. Or like you want to send some damage versus this build.
Yeah, I feel like if this is just double Needler or something against
Yeah,
Atrocity, he's just Giga leaking really quickly.
I legit zero tanks besides the Void Mantis, right?
Yeah.
Right? So if you send any sort of range DPS, it should
Yeah,
kill
yeah,
it
yeah.
fast, I think. But yeah, also, yeah, I guess technically they just overpushed.
That's
That
just
is
wild
just
to me.
such a steal. They probably just needed to go 14, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
because
they
that
couldn't
was
go 14.
yeah, because of
Or
the
they would have
opening
to.
builds.
They have to push even harder for 14. But
Yeah, they
Yeah,
would.
I think that was doable because of how the builds were, right? You have a doppel on an OT and a double Doomsday potentially, or like a Doomsday and a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
good
maybe.
stuff around it. So
Maybe,
I
maybe
think
it
they
was
were
like
just. They just thought that Drac is just. I mean, to be honest, if they had just killed them with better sense, then we wouldn't be talking about this. Because
True,
they,
true,
they
true. That
definitely
is true.
leaked them first.
But we do agree on the fact that this game is just a steal.
Oh,
and it's like a
absolutely, yeah.
daylight
For sure.
robbery. This is some Wild West shit out here. Guys jumping out at the bushes with like
Yeah.
I don't know, a revolver telling you to give him all your shit. This shouldn't have happened, okay? I'm just gonna say it out loud. We're all thinking it. This should not have happened.
No.
This should have been a game for double penetration, but in the end, it appears that they were the target of said penetration in this game. Double leak on wave 15, you kill your king, and you say, "Go next," I guess. But this is
crazy, man.
mentally.
They were so far
Mentally,
ahead.
this is crushing.
So far ahead. The entire game we talked about Drakir's having a rough one. He's losing his bankers again. He's not getting any gold. He's this, he's that. He's really struggling, and then they just win.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
not the
actually-
end to the story that I was expecting, but you know, we have to give them credit where due. They played to their outs, Drakir and Atrocity, and they proved that value is more powerful than Mythium. So
Yeah, looking at the Sen again, like, yeah, Johnny just, like, a lot of his Mythium is just doing nothing. Like,
No,
the
that's
DK and
that was
then
with Sen.
Robos. I mean, the
Yeah,
Kraken
yeah,
is a good idea, but yeah, you just need some damage with that, right?
Yeah. But in the end, it's just a crazy thing that they were able to take this game out. But as I said, that they had the value for 15 and the enemy didn't. I was more thinking of Drakir and Atrocity survive and maybe they farm the shutdowns and maybe the game goes longer, but they just killed them. So let's go game 2. Let's hope that double penetration can, untilt, because I would be extremely tilted after this loss.
Oh, I would be giga tilted, yeah. My brain would already be like in the mold zone for sure. Just really starting to mine out some of that salt, I think. But let's see, Sagittarius and Johnny C might be made of sterner stuff than I certainly hope so. And let's see if they can turn things around as we go into game number 2.
Let's go.
Another Chaos and Fiesta sort of inviting game. We have a counterattack. We also have Pawn Shop. That's great for any Chaos players.
Ooh, Chaos as well for Atrocity.
Atrocity likes Chaos.
Yeah, he's also a known Chaos abuser. I think he can use this mastermind very well. And like you say, with Pawn Shop in the game, Chaos just seems way too inviting because that is a broken combo there, the Chaos with Pawn Shop.
Castle turning into Cartel. Always a classic.
Always a classic. We'll have to see. I mean, Sagittarius popped off pretty nicely last game, but it still wasn't enough, right? So is it going to be enough for him here, receiving from the castle player? And if not, they're going to be in trouble. Again, his trademark opener, it seems.
Do you think any snails will be sent here? Because there were no snails last game, and a snail here could ruin someone's day, right? Here.
Definitely. And
Let's
Drac
see
looks
what
like he could play also a gate guard cat opener.
Yeah.
Maybe he just doesn't risk it. Builds both, like gate guard plus something. See what he goes for. I mean, I would expect gate guard in this opener.
There is no snail coming out
Sakura.
from Sagittarius, so Atrocity is safe. And Drakir going for the Sakura opener. Let's see if he can learn a lesson from his game against Dark Quacker earlier.
Yeah, I remember last Nova Cup, Drakir played Sakura and got robot pretty much every wave. That game did not go well.
We'll see what happens. Johnny is a robo enjoyer for sure, and he does have that long wave opener.
Yeah.
That's terrible for Drakir.
Oh, and Sagittarius, I was going to say, do you think he's going to try and play around the snail? Because last time Drakir did snail his double pirate opener, but of course with the Sakura, there's no way that Drakir can send a snail, so Sagittarius is just safe.
Even if there was a chance that Sagittarius gets snailed here, he would actually say,
he got that in
snail.
because of the
Oh.
skeleton over there.
Oh, for
Oh, that's
atrocity.
pretty crazy.
Yeah, Giga rewarded for
Yeah.
playing Wildstrom.
Well, Johnny C is going to need to add some more value than this, I think, right? Doesn't this just leak? Yeah. Okay. He
Yeah.
adds the second howling. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, it's
I
like
think-
this is a very weird spot for just the one howler.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure this could probably hold if it was another positioning. Like
Yeah, if it was
in
like
the
some sort of
split.
split tank positioning. then
Yeah.
Probably it's
I
fine.
think-
Howler's too good on 3 or 2.
I think it's going to
Yeah.
tank some of the split now, right? No, it doesn't. It's all straight on the crusher. But even so,
It's
I
just
think
howling.
180 value is more than enough with a bone crusher. There's no way he's leaking
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
Should
absolutely.
be a nice Chill 6 workers, especially with Aqua showing up.
Yep. Aqua is actually so base here because it also adds to your wave 4, which is already boosted by the Howlers.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean,
that's
if you-
going to be a nice pushing game for Johnny C potentially.
Wow, what a genius.
Yeah, even split with the seedling there. Drakir just not willing to risk it the way that Darkwacker got handled earlier in the semi-final.
That's a brainiac.
Also, it's always nice to get your ranged carry out in Chaos early, because that's kind of like the thing with Chaos is like you always want to have a good damage source early, because you can build whatever trash tanks,
Yep.
as long as you can kill stuff. Ooh, it's a
And also
full 60.
setting up your split early is also very, very helpful whenever you're playing Chaos. 'Cause
Went
then
for
it's
that
like-
Tempest build
Yeah.
over like just getting a Daphne, I guess.
His Shroom is tanking too much, right? But I don't think it matters
Uh,
here. The Tempest
looks
is
like he's
broken enough to
chilling.
hold. Yeah.
Yeah. I
everyone's
mean,
chilling.
this Ranger tanked really nicely to begin with, so
Oh.
that's all it needed.
Wait. Is there a leak in lane
Got his
4?
guy.
Oh,
Yep.
there is.
Darako was under tanking. It only tanked, I think, 1 or 2 creeps. And yeah, this could have been
Yeah.
a hold.
Didn't want to risk it, I guess, since he doesn't have money for a split.
Yeah, it's also better for later this way. I think this was just always a tiny leak, I guess. But is that even bad, knowing that Sagittarius can push to 8, knowing that Sakura is sending into him?
No,
So
it's,
there
not
won't
too
be-
bad.
it's absolutely fine. Like Sagittarius is really playing this mastermind to his full advantage. There's long waves there with his teammate leaking. He's a cartel player. He has 2 more workers than anybody else in the game. And I think this is, well, again, it's a pretty nice start for the side of double penetration. However, they still need to be able to convert that into a victory.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's coming up is Drac is going to try and probably break this skeleton thing.
Mhm.
Like, 8 workers is always a risk, and I'm pretty sure if Drac gets to 80 in income,
Yeah.
he can leak
Sagittarius
it,
has
but-
the
Does he?
Pilgrim in his role, though, which is probably the best unit in the game for Wave 5.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe he's just going 6 then.
Oh, Drakir.
Ooh.
Fully cringing. Okay.
That's actually extremely good for Drakir, right? Your
Yeah, I
cast
mean,
ball, sending into
you-
cartel.
You want to go 6 most of the time anyways as Sakura if you're trying to save. Like, you do want to protect your weak waves.
Yeah, that's for sure. But at the same time, it's just if you're slowing your cartel opponent in the game that you're playing castle, you're
Mhm.
gonna feel double the excitement.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure.
And Drakir's also shifting some gold here. No, wait, he pushed 8 in the end. He pushed 8.
Okay.
Yeah, he decided that legit being overvalued wasn't the best play.
Yeah, that was 50 over, right? That was 55
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
we
that's
play there from Drakir.
a bit much for a Sakura on 5, I think. And that's a nice 9 worky for Drakir, so there's going to be a big send here. Also, Atrocity stockpiling some myth.
Or is he just going Mimic on 7? Yeah, he's just going Mimic on 7.
Oh my god.
I mean, this is how you want to play the Castle into Cartel matchup, right? So he has correctly read that Sagittarius has picked Cartel back to back, and he is playing pretty perfectly, I would say, against this.
Ooh.
That is going to hurt next
I mean,
wave.
he does have that Mudman.
Yeah, exactly.
but-
That's what I wanted to say.
That's his out against Mimic, but I mean, Drac can always just go not for the Mimic.
Income?
He might even have
No,
a yellow
like he
guy,
could just go Brutes, but
You're never going to come. Yeah, Brutes could make sense.
but doesn't
Yeah,
he just
like,
get the big
depends
yellow
on
guy
the
in
mix.
income?
It depends if
No
he leaks
way,
here,
right?
which it looks like he might. Yeah,
If there's a leak
Or-
here, he definitely gets the yellow guy, right?
Oh
I
yeah.
think he's making the
Oh,
leak.
but he's already mimicked.
Okay, that's a mimic. So that's actually very, very bad for Drakir. He doesn't know that yet, but there's going to be a Madman that comes out and just
I
times
mean,
the
you
mimic.
probably always have to send Mimic here. He does have
Yeah.
that skeleton guy. Like,
I mean,
can't
you
just-
see this board,
dream.
right? There's like magic damage and swift tanks
Yeah.
and arcane tanks. But at the same time, a a Madman, and some boosts. That's pretty juicy, right?
He doesn't have gold for everything. He can go Mudman, upgrade vet, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But
That's-
the thing about like this split is also this is probably under tanking.
Yep.
So he has
doesn't
to
have
sell
money
this
for
it. Okay,
first
I
Pee-wee to
I
build the veteran.
did lie about how much gold he had. Sorry, guys.
No, he's still gonna spam a few
He
Pee-wees,
does
go
get
for
that
boost.
boost.
One boost, that's going to be the difference, right? That surely is the difference. He's almost on value, by the way. That's 810 on wave 7.
Wow.
He
Is it
does
going to
have
be
that
enough
cartel
for...
hack.
This is a big send here. 220 for Sagittarius, 180 for Yoni C. Is anybody able to hold against this mammoth amount of Mythium on wave 7?
He is killing that mimic, but I think it's gonna be the penny
Is
killing
he?
the mimic.
Oh, I don't think he is killing that Mimic. I think he's going to leak it on 1 HP. And yes, that is devastating there for Sagittarius. 94% leak. Meanwhile, Yoni C did pretty well there, but still a 48%. And they
Yeah, I mean-
are taking a sizable chunk of king damage here.
Yeah. Definitely
think-
rough when you're a cartel in this spot. Like you just didn't get to play the game, and then you still leak.
Yeah.
And what we do know,
Atrocity kind of took advantage of that pressure, right? So
He's in a
they
really
got
good
themselves
position.
in a really good spot.
So
And Track has that
Atrocity is
castle.
already ahead in income compared to the cartel player, and way ahead compared to his Chaos contemporary of Johnny C. And Atrocity, he's in a really, really strong carry position now for this game.
Yeah. See what he can do with his advantage. I mean, Chaos is a great mastermind to have in this spot. I feel like he would leak to a reset pretty badly here, considering he's just letting his Daphne die.
oh, interestingly enough, look at that. There's a Brute that next to the Dino, and Johnny C's lane. And this
Ooh.
could maybe mean a league, because
No
there's
second
not
summon.
a
No second
summon.
summon. He's going to get overwhelmed.
Full DPS
Oh.
Aqua as well, because he
Yikes.
wanted to protect his banker, but yeah, he
That is
forgot that he...
crushing, guys. That's a 92% leak to a Dino Brute resend here
Wait,
on wave
isn't his
8.
banker safe already because the Aqua's running in front, or is that not how the ranges work?
I'm not sure exactly.
Pretty sure
Is
Aqua
this-
is like shorter range.
The seedling, right? So the seedling just...
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like he didn't even need the seedling, like to protect
Okay.
his banker. Right?
Yeah.
But he was pretty much in value and leaking almost 100%. That's
Yeah, I
very
mean,
cool.
if your Aqua doesn't tank on 8, like
It's a
you
bit
are
of a
not
doomer.
holding.
Yeah.
And they are gonna try a whole send here
Yeah.
with that pack leader.
This
What does
feels
Drac
like a
have?
little bit of a copium full send though, right? Because Atrocity just has infinite bursts now from those leaks on 7 and 8 back to back. And Drakir, I mean, he's not far behind. Drakir, in fact, is overvalue, and Atrocity is pretty close to value as well.
He does have that 0 damage problem in his build, but he also
True.
has these guys which are really good in on value situations. So
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
I think Drakir should be leaking. There's so much value in the Pixies that I think this should
And
be a
this
leak.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
And
let's see how Sakura tanks.
There's no
Yeah, that's
mole
pretty-
though, so the Pixies do more than 0 damage.
Sure,
It's
for
pretty
a
good.
second.
And we have pretty good split tanking. 1 brute
Oh.
sniped, 2
But-
brutes sniped.
All
This
the
Shadow
Shadow
Dancer
Dancer is
big
going
run.
down though. There won't be infinite clones at least.
That's 2 leaks.
Yeah, I
2
feel like
okay.
this crab build on 8 was very greedy, but
So
I think he-
67 there for Drakir.
I don't know if he had
what is it?
anything better to build, but like,
He-
doesn't feel like the right time for the crab guy.
I think he just didn't have a good unit to build. If I recall correctly, looking at his options, there was nothing that screamed "pick me" there.
Yeah. So it was either the crab or just shift gold and maybe leak fall, because you were already saying he's going to leak to a resend, right? Even with the crab guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it's pretty good for them. I mean,
That's-
let's see how they do against these sets, because obviously, whoa, he did get the dude.
Okay, wow.
He's getting GK though.
He is
I would
getting
say
Yeah,
GA.
Not
I mean-
great.
surely, like, these units are that bad, right?
Is he going to harden?
I
Probably
think this could
wouldn't
be a
harden,
baby league,
looking at-
I guess. Maybe even a full hold. If it's a full hold, I think they're back in the game.
Hmm.
I feel like if the game is good, he should fold with here, but
Oh,
this unit
that's
might just not be very good on that. We'll see.
bold assumption of my bold
Well,
assumption.
the sends are massive. There's 320 here for Sagittarius, 280 there for Yoni C, Is anybody able to hold here? Because this is pretty dangerous now. The Sovereign is doing Sovereign things, though. The GK has finally died. This thing tanking a Robo forever, so this thing basically doing 0 damage. And the Sovereign is about to pop off. I don't think... Has anyone seen this ability before?
Crazy.
This is
Just
an easy hold. Sagittarius, what a beast!
Confirmed that Sovereign is not that big of a fraud.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, if you give him the perfect circumstances, I guess. Because that's
Who would have
still
thought
stamping
the,
damage, right?
The Impact Swift Tier 6 unit would be good on Wave 10.
That Wave 12 counterattack could be a possibility now.
Yeah. But with all of those like defensive spells there, the Pawn Shop, the GA, 12 really doesn't seem that appealing. And yeah, we have Pawn Shop already from Drakir, double Pawn Shop snap pick there from Sagittarius and Yoni C, going for the easy snap call. And Atrocity, I mean, he has to just Pawn Shop as well, right? There's no way.
I think so.
By the way, he's farming the goods, Atrocity, I mean.
Mhm.
There's a potential Tempest with 2 units getting buffed. There's a Work Circle that looks very solid. And there's an APS with Shadow Dancer.
Yeah.
Probably the best unit to utilize the aura buff. And a Zerker and a Dark Mage. So that's
He
definitely...
does have to upgrade these units at some point.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
but that's still a lot of like good chaos value, and they're getting income sent here, so I guess this is pretty good for getting your upgrades out, because now you're not under a lot of pressure, and you could also pawn some stuff if you want it. So yeah, that's a very good carry position for Atrocity. Obviously, Sagittarius now on the P-score is in the lead, but I think this is gonna fall off just a tiny bit because of the cartel penalty.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
I mean, he's the same income as Drakir now.
Yeah, exactly.
I did want to say about Atrocity's board, by the way, this is like a really typical chaos build before it just pops the fuck off, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's got a bunch of very good units, none of which is upgraded because he's had to keep building the good unit every wave. And now that he has income and we're going into the mid game, he can afford to basically upgrade one of his really good units every wave, and his build is just going to start popping.
Sure.
Yeah, and the beautiful part is that sometimes you want to do this as chaos, but you get starved and you get forced to, skip units, or forced to spend a lot of gold on a certain wave and then push on a certain wave and not allowed, to spread those things out. And this game, Atrocity has not been under pretty much any pressure thanks to how Drakir played it out. Utilizing the castle, get back into the game, here's your income on wave 11. He took out Sagittarius with pretty much 2 big sends throughout the game, and like not letting him...
I don't like the send here for Sagittarius and Johnny. Try and undercut their 14.
And with
Or-
Drakir,
Or that happening, and then you definitely send.
that's inviting, right? That's very inviting.
The Sagittarius pushed a no send, so I think he has some plan.
Oh, Johnny
Let's
C
see,
pushed
right?
as well, right? They both pushed the no send.
Okay, we just pushed the no send and don't send.
That's interesting.
Wait, I'm pretty sure this push a no send and send here, they could actually just win the game off that. Like, I don't think this build is that good.
Oh,
off
Drakir's
yeah.
like suiciding, by the way.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's a big push from Drakir. So this is just going to be 14 all around, and Atrocity, he would love to get this Iron Scales here.
Sagittarius got the OT star call already for his 14.
Now remember, Johnny C has Pawn Shop, so does Atrocity. So it'd be interesting to see if either of them just like...
Ah, Doomsday APS, yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep,
Yeah, that Phoenix
that'll
might
do.
disappear.
That'll do. Is he going to just sell his Phoenix, though, straight up? Like, does he have the presence of
mean-
mind to know that it is a 14 cent? They must see
think I
Drakir's
would.
value here and just understand that it's going to be a giga play on 14.
Yeah, I think it's 100% the right call to do that.
I think you could maybe
mean-
justify keeping the Phoenix because of how well it split tanks with pretty much no tanks behind it and the Steeds, but I think you sell the...
Oh,
the
you
bank-
sell
the
this
banker
unit,
needs
right?
to go.
Yeah,
this
that's what I
unit
would-
always go there. Wait,
The thing is, if you split tank with the the Phoenix, you're not split tanking with the Doomsday. So
Yeah,
it's
if
like
that's
a
your
one or the
plan.
other.
If that's your plan, you definitely sell one of those.
I don't know. I mean,
Johnny?
selling a Phoenix is a lot of gold, to be fair.
Wait, that's
Oh,
an Aqua that's gone. Was that supposed
Okay.
to be the unit that you...
I mean, Aqua's not that good on 14 as
Yeah,
well.
sure, but there's a very big red flag next to it, and it
Yeah.
hasn't gone.
it's just absolute dead value here. Like, get rid of this unit, please. You're being way too greedy, Johnny C.
Well, he keeps both. That's pretty crazy. But the value for Drakir is also sus, and he has a Sakura on board, so that should be a leak, even though he has a.
Wait, Drag didn't punch off his Sakura either?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Or his LOD?
Wow.
Yo, that's even crazier, by the way.
Some very greedy
Maybe
plays.
they
But
just
look at the split
forgot?
tanking here for Yoni C. The Phoenix
Yeah,
and the
never mind.
Doomsday just
Shouldn't not have
perfectly
doubted
splitting
Chef's
away.
kiss.
Professor Chaos.
Holy
That is
moly.
Chef's kiss, guys. That is Chef's kiss. The big wig is dead.
Drakir leaks
But
82%.
Atrocity is holding.
Atrocity
And
is
they
dead.
are double leaking. But are they?
They
should be
live this, they live this, I
alive,
think,
Right?
yeah.
They have like. I mean, it is need their double 4-eye.
Yeah,
It's only
that's a
5
lot of
creeps.
king damage.
I
But I
think
think
you
they live.
guys massively overrate 4-Eyes damage against the king. The nerf was significant. They straight up said this unit now does 40% less damage against the king.
Yeah, but that is still substantial king damage. That's 24% left, and Atrocity should be able to cover pretty well in the
Yeah.
left
They
mid.
do look like they are pushing for that 16 play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Sagittarius and Johnny C, they've pressed the worker button a couple of times as well, but they're pretty far behind Drakir
Yeah.
and Atrocity.
He does have that Chaos Flower hack.
Oh yeah, what a beast.
That's what you get.
Imagine
I mean, this is-
though, guys, like Johnny C leaked what, 2 creeps there and a Needler? Imagine if he just
Inside.
sold this damn unit and built something real on 14.
I also think,
Upgraded
yeah,
this
same
unit.
thing with Drakir, right? Like, no way these units could be on your port, right?
I think leaving the Sakura be is justifiable because it has.
Oh, but
some amount
it's
of
like
stuff.
actually like plus gold. Like you actually got more gold.
Oh,
from
yeah,
selling
that's
to
true,
the
that's true.
specs. That's why it's like kind of insane. But Sagittarius full pushing for 16, which is
Yeah.
the right read because Drak is obviously dead.
Yep.
Yeah,
And the
perfect mouse.
reason for that Sui push is that Johnny C rolled the flower, right? So your
Yeah.
Chaos mate rolls flower for wave 16, obviously.
He
since
sold,
he's a
by the
Chaos
way,
gamer.
to Furlick here.
Yeah. So Sagittarius just goes in at that stage.
And yeah, Johnny even rolling more juice. I mean, Atrocity also has some juice to Pyros. out
Oh,
of
that's
nowhere.
Pyros rolled.
But he
for
doesn't really have
16.
tank value, so maybe a better build choice for him, especially getting Suidon, is to go full tanks.
Yeah,
I
just like
mean-
a Warg Lioness circle, maybe.
Yeah, or like I don't know, so warp maybe one warp wing to try and delay a bit.
I think the Warp Wing is bad enough on 16 that you really don't want to have it on your board.
No,
Like
then,
even though it's good
yeah.
for delay, I think it's just so bad.
Maybe we just go for the tanks then.
Yeah, I think it's the tanks or the Pyros.
Yeah.
Because even if he doesn't have a lot of tank value, I think this unit is just going to get a couple of clones anyway.
Right.
So
He
Oh,
does
wait, what-
finally sell the big wig, by the way, so thank God for that.
by the
He
way,
is just
Atrocity is
building
owning
that full pyro
everything
board.
for Pyros.
Yeah, yep, good presence of mind there. So the 2 Chaos abusers abusing Chaos to its fullest.
This
Yeah,
is,
just sell the DK, man.
at
At this point,
this
I,
point,
mean, I don't think this DK does anything on
Sell,
this
sell
board.
the
anymore.
DK,
Yeah.
sell the Badger, just
I-
be full Pyros and like
fu-
alpha
or
males.
like yeah.
I think it will
Makes me
commit
think
at this
of-
point.
The Kingdoms on wave 12 legit sold his full board for Pyros.
Yep. I mean, it won in the
Okay,
game,
I'd say
right?
like
Surely this
Uh,
doesn't work,
yeah.
right? Surely this doesn't work.
Come
Surely
on,
the
it's
Pyros.
cooking, but
Come on, Atrocity, that wave is
Yeah.
melting pretty quickly. Ah,
Not
the
quick
wave,
enough.
it's not holding,
not
but
quite
yeah,
enough, but it's damn
enough,
close.
right?
Meanwhile, let's see,
Wait,
Johnny
Drakir?
C.
Johnny see the goat?
Oh, the pesky GK!
I think Drakir the goat. Holy moly.
Drakir has
delayed
really
forever.
stalled so long.
Johnny C holds for a very long time, but it's not going to be enough. This
that-
is a king
especially
race
as they
again. Oh, gate diff.
Wait, surely they don't live,
Uh,
right? Surely
No,
they
there's-
don't live
there's
again.
Way
Oh, they
more
do!
creeps. There's
Oh
way
my
more
God.
creeps this side. Holy. Wow, guys.
The full Papyrus gets the job done.
Holy.
Absolutely.
Look at this
Yeah,
wind graph. It's
chaos
such a roller coaster.
shot.
Up and down, up and down, up and down. And then, of course, Secret Agents clutching it here. Big leaks 14, big damage 14, big hold 14 from AA Atrocity. And then, yeah, just
Yeah.
closing the game out on 15.
He did do his job this game. He did end up carrying.
Yep, absolutely. But this series has been all sorts of crazy. It's 2-0 for Drakir and Atrocity, and this game could have gone either way. The first one was a snatch, and suddenly Double Penetration are in a position where you're facing elimination from the tournament, when realistically this could have even been easily have been a 2-0 for them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
That's weird. That's weird to face. Having to face this, after those 2 games, I would be like so disheartened. Like, what do I do to win a game here?
Yeah, I mean, they're in a really tough spot, right? The one saving grace is that with the Conquest format, at least Secret Agents have used up their kind of trademark masterminds. Chaos is gone, Castle is gone, YOLO from Drakir. Although, to be fair, YOLO is like a very high variance mastermind. I know Drakir plays it a lot on the ladder, but it's not always the safest pick for all tournament play. So they still have choices, while Sagittarius and Johnny C, they can play whatever they want, right? Because they still have everything available. But yeah, they do need to reverse sweep now. They are on the precipice of going out of this tournament, and Drakir and Atrocity are pretty well poised to just have a very, very, very clean Nova Cup without... I think they haven't lost a single game, actually, so far this tournament, so...
They have not. They have not. Yeah, they have been cooking everyone right up and well. But I think... I'm not sure if you guys agree with me, but I'm gonna say, fuck it, bring out the Fiesta. Johnny, come on.
Yeah,
it's the time. It's the time.
Yeah.
I'd be really interested to see if they read that, Drakir and Atrocity, and just snail him. Like, they haven't snailed him at all this entire series, and now they think, look, they're on the wall, their back's up against the wall, they're gonna bring out the Fiesta, the big guns, if you will. Let's just snail them on one, and let's leak that consult opener for 70%. That'd be really, really interesting to see if that happens or not. But I guess we'll find out. But yeah, you're right. Like, they've got to be feeling so bad there, Sagittarius and Johnny C. But look, I really want to just come back to that wave 14, and the fact that Johnny C did not pawn shop his bigwig. It was so greedy, guys. He had really good units in his role, and a bigwig is what? It's 280 gold, so it pawn shops for Offma.
Like 260.
Yeah, 252 it pawn shops for, so he can sell that. He can maybe sell like the Crusher as well. He can just add another Millennium, right? And then he's just definitely holding with a Doomsday and a Millennium instead of a big
Arcane Tank or something.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, it was so greedy. Maybe he just felt like he could afford to, but there was no way it was living there, because even if he was able to hold his own wave, he's never holding Sagittarius's 120% leak, right? Just sell the thing. That's why you picked Pawnshop in the first place. The banker has done his job. He's earned that gold throughout the early game. He's got you to this position. Pat him on the back, give him his retirement, sell the damn thing, and build a good unit for Wave 14, and maybe this game goes differently.
Yeah, and it's such a weird decision as well, because if there was a chance Sagittarius is holding, then I would maybe get it, You're coping that you hold and your teammate is doing well, but this was 100% Sagi leaking there. So you're not getting the gold anyway, and the unit is not good on 15, it's not good on 16. Why keep it? Like, even for the future, right? You're not getting the gold this wave, and if the game's going 16, which was very highly likely looking at the boards, you still pawn shop it 16.
Yeah,
so you
don't want it there either. Yeah, for sure.
One wave of 27, is it gold?
Yeah, 27 gold.
Yeah, that's just like, I don't think there's a reasonable explanation, and it's not even good damage type to counteract the GK that is likely to come into your Doomsday. So I don't know. That's just.
It's just greedy. It's just pure and simple.
I don't know,
and he's probably going to be
break.
kicking himself a little bit off the back of that, right? So hopefully
Surely.
the morale is not too low for the side of double penetration, and they can shape up a little bit in game number 3. I mean, I say shape up, that's actually really harsh, because they played both games very, very well. And look, I'm hyper focusing on this one mistake here from Johnny C on wave 14, but other than that, I think they've played pretty cleanly. And look, game number 1, they were really favoured pretty much the entire game, and then it kind of got snatched from them with that king race by Drakir and Atrocity. So I do feel like they're in danger of just morale rock bottom and then just kind of tilting into the third game here. I'd love for them to prove me wrong. I would absolutely love for them to prove me wrong. Reverse sweep, go to game number 5, everything to play for, and see how they can do. But I just don't know if it's going to happen, guys.
Yeah, and if there's any common denominator for those 2 games, it's just Atrocity and Drakir have better calling post 10. It's just their mid game. I don't think we have seen late game in any of those games really. Those wave 16s endings were more of like a result of previous decisions and like the previous send.
Mhm.
Like the mid game decision making on the side of Drakir and Atrocity is just better, in my opinion. They know that they have to have some value and wait out the game. I think Saji and Johnny have been maybe over pushing it a tiny bit. Game 1 especially. Like I think the loss was caused by that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Last game
definitely.
they just incomed on 11, which was very bad.
Yeah, but I think this is the
Ooh,
cartel copium,
The
right? From
atrocity,
Sagittarius.
doing the atrocity.
Okay.
Oh,
All right, guys.
No.
Let's see. Can double
Asian
penetration bring
duo.
this one back? It is everything to play for now. They're 2-0 down. They have got to win this game to have a chance of staying in this tournament. Can they do it? Let's find out. Game number 3.
And the same pairing of
Let's
masterminds.
have that Poda Mask hack. Or that Nightmare Butcher hack, depending on what he wants.
Nice luck, nice luck. Yeah, 2 very good rolls there for Sagittarius, actually. Holy moly.
He rarely does Pota though. He's not a big Pota player from my experience, so I'm not sure if that's.
I mean, probably doesn't want to play Poda Mask if Johnny's going to play Poda.
Yeah. That's what I also wanted to mention. That it's not really worth to play Pota if your teammate is already playing Pota. That leaves you vulnerable on similar waves. So yeah, but
Yeah.
it's the same
Well-
mastermind. Never mind.
Wait,
Scratch that.
What?
Yeah, this seems weird now.
He said, "I'll take both. Why not both?"
I don't really like this Poda Mask rule
That's us.
compared to what he could have had, because he had Garg, right? And Garg
Yeah,
is
he had
much,
Garg.
much better with
Yeah.
the Poda Mask in terms of you want cheap tanks.
The one thing that
Yes.
I will say for Sagittarius is, like, if he did go for the Butcher Nightmare route, his tier 1 is Mask, which is really
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
with Butcher Nightmare, and his tier 6 is Boar, which is, again, really bad with Butcher Nightmare. So, although he had a couple of good packages for the Butcher Nightmare, his tier 1 and his tier 6 were both very bad for it. So I can understand him going this route instead.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fine to play Poda Mask here.
And one thing to point out as well, Johnny C did snail against Drakir here on wave 1, and Drakir,
What a
he
snack.
fiestant. He fiestant.
And
so
now
it's
he's
just
6 workers.
plus 4 gold, yeah. Oh, wow. That 4 gold actually mattering here. Drakir able to go 6 workers and add the Goblin Copter. That is kind of huge, actually.
That is mega diff, and Johnny C received the snail as well, but in his case, unfortunately, Sag.
He's trying again.
The snail resend might get him,
This
right?
will be.
I don't think it's terrible, though, with the addition of the split.
Yeah.
Isn't that used to be 33%? I would assume it's still that.
Let's find out. Yep, 33%. Okay, good call.
You take that.
Yeah, I think so. Being 6 workers in this lobby and having
All 4 players actually are on 6 workers here on wave 2.
yeah, but like not all of them were 6 workies at the point of
True.
start. Right. Sagittarius,
he is
interestingly
trying
enough,
to break
roll.
that. Yeah, I mean, I think Sagittarius likes doing this versus Flower Angler.
Yeah, and I thought, yeah, Drakir, he had a lot of Mythium. I thought he might go for the big green guy, and the big green guy, he does
Yep.
go.
Sagittarius is ready though.
And I don't think he's that ready. I'm
This
pretty sure
this
is
still
pretty
leaks,
bad,
right?
but yeah.
Against a
It's
brute,
pretty
yeah,
bad.
yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But that's a 6 worky diff on
Wait.
Drakir.
I
Is
think
this
Drakir's
fine?
even going to
I'm-
get the snail here. It's very close whether
Yeah.
he has enough Mythium. I think
Pretty
he
sure,
does.
pretty sure he gets it.
Yeah,
He
He
should
was
get it.
3 Mythium. So he should have it.
Yeah.
he gets it.
But I'm kind of worried about Atrocity's lane.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's see if we can
Perfect.
keep Atrocity and this in line. But the thing with Atrocity's positioning is he just always gets this perfect 3-way split.
Yeah, he
right?
has the Giga Split Tank.
This
so
is why
maybe
he
it's
came up
still-
with this build in the first place, because
So
of how good it is
nasty.
here. Look at this. Easy hold against the 60. Meanwhile,
Beast.
Sagittarius leaking 59% to the Brute Snail with his Poter Mask.
That is just masterclass from Drakir and Atrocity
Mhm.
for this first 3 waves. Drakir getting that 6 gold after the snail, and then leaking so he gets the brute in income, and having those 6 workers all the time gave him
Yeah.
the snail as well, which adds to the leak. And at the same time, Saji went for the risky robo, which sure goes through, but is it really worth the
We
minus
go
to
again.
income?
We go again. We run it back, boys.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I don't know.
Atrocity's
Atrocity.
saving.
Hmm.
This is never leaking. Like.
Yeah, I think he's fine.
And it's just he's the father of this tech, okay? If there's a player that knows this in and out, it's Atrocity. Sure, the Asian duo has destroyed any fun of playing high elo for like 2 or 3 weeks with this. Sure thing. but he's the father of the tech. He should know.
Yeah.
He's the original.
He's the inventor.
Never pushed past 6.
Yeah. All right. Well, Atrocity is
That's his
question marking
tagline.
it, so maybe he's not sure of the.
I think he's question marking why they
Yeah.
sent him, or I don't know.
The aggro is
That's
just
what I was
absolutely
confused.
perfect for him here. Look at this. The
Yeah.
split tanking is just unreal.
I'm just
Yeah, I
gonna
think-
say it, guys. This makes me wanna puke. You know.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say.
Juicy. He's
And
still on
we
6
don't
workers though, by the way, for Atrocity. So he is.
Because that's the rule. That's the rule, Penny. That's what you need to acknowledge. You just never push past 6. And if someone tries to try hard you, like Sagittarius is willingly taking himself out of the game in terms of income by sending those repetitive robos, and Atrocity is just saying, "Sure, I guess I'll KP on 6 anyway, and have the game of my life."
What?
Yeah,
Crazy.
That is
guy.
interesting.
I mean, I guess he saw his math, did the math for what he needs to get Kingpin.
He
Probably
can't afford a
was-
Kingpin anyway. He's going to have to sell like the Dark Mage, I think. But
Oh.
I'm pretty sure that's what he's committed to here. So he built the Dark Mage, maybe expecting a resend here on 5,
Yeah.
but he's going to have to sell it if he wants that Kingpin on 6.
Yeah. That is
Oh.
interesting.
He,
Maybe with
They-
140 Mythium, that might change things. I'm not
yeah, he is gonna send a bit, but
I mean, he's not getting to 250
sure. No,
anyway.
he's not. He's going to have to sell something.
Yeah. Unless he
they're also saving.
He does.
is he
Oh,
not.
he
going
is
for the
saving.
victory?
So I think we say bye-bye Dark Mage.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see another option.
You served us well for one wave, and it's time for you to go.
Maybe there's some copium. No.
Nope. He
It's a
just-
good decision. I think it's a good decision.
Psycho.
That's the tech inventor.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's getting rewarded for this play. Rewarded
Yeah.
again! Imagine
Another-
that! Double robo!
Another Domovo.
Has Sagittarius
Probably.
not played against the like Smurf
Mimic after
abusers, or what? Because they did this every single game.
I'm actually so sad, you know? Like, because this is disheartening on the side of Sagittarius.
But he's focusing the Mimic with the Priestess. But that's not a good thing.
He never kills it, right? Wow.
Crazy Mimic. after income rate.
109% leak with a post-income Mimic. Giga paying off there for Atrocity, who, by the way, is easily holding with his Kingpin.
Yeah.
And Drakir's baby leaking against the Brute Robo as well. So, double penetration, fans. You're not enjoying this one, I don't think.
Yeah.
You're the math god. If I'm not mistaken, that's 4 robos, right? That have gone into
Yeah.
Atrocity's lane. Is that is my math correct? -8 Mythium for the cartel player.
-8 Mythium?
Sorry,
income.
-8
Yeah,
income. Yeah. -8.
Yeah. Not good.
Good thing he doesn't have a minus income coming after wave 10, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You're already -8 and you've got a looming -36 on the horizon.
Beautiful.
Yep. There it goes.
8 workies.
There it goes.
Wiggling.
So, by the way, I have talked to Atrocity about his kind of theory behind this. Well, fair to call it of an atrocity of a build, right? And his idea is that when you're overbuilding in the early game, it hurts your economy, right? Clearly, right? That's kind of the downside to overbuilding. It's going to hurt your economy, your scaling. But if you're overbuilding specifically with anglers, with bounty hunters, then you can compensate for that lack of economy, because obviously you're cheating out a pretty big chunk of gold when you finally upgrade to Kingpin there. And it also allows you, of course, to push the worker up button finally.
Yeah, and
He's gonna send a Mimic.
you think
Yeah,
so?
And it's gonna work.
There it is.
Yeah. That's the beautiful thing you can do into Poda Mask, by the way. If you get the Mimic on 8, that usually means non-Tantrum Mask, because you usually want to have a Tantrum for wave 7. And if the Poda Mask player is pushing, which is what you want from the build, you usually don't have enough tankage to stop the Mimic and not enough damage to kill the Mimic, because your single target damage usually is the Poda, and
Yeah.
Masks are AoE, so that's a
And
very,
it's
very good.
shifting.
Sergi's even shifting the 40 gold. You didn't drop the Howler. Could have been all the difference there.
Yeah, he's got.
Yeah, he's getting absolutely smacked here, and the worst part is there's like not a saving grace for them because they have sent their Mythium like good boys.
Yeah.
That's 2 income kings, so there's not even a pressure behind it. And look at that Mimic, that's a 20 gold.
86% leak, 20 gold on the Mimic.
Yeah.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Um,
Beautiful.
Well, I was hoping for at least some signs of life from double penetration, and I'm not going to count them out just yet, but this game is off to a really strong start already for the secret agents.
Yeah, and the second KP is probably not coming out next wave.
No. They do at least get a little bit of retaliatory damage against the king here on
True.
wave 8, so it's something. It's
Johnny
something.
has to be very careful of a 9 resend.
And a 9 resend there is its only income, though, thankfully.
Oh, if
But
he
does he
gets
hold
a
the
full send,
income?
he's getting cooked.
I think he's dead here.
Maybe Atrocity will just go for it after income, because I can't see any world in which he want to skip and go 10, because like the guy has Zerker on his board already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he's just coping that there's like an income king. But even the income king on the side of Atrocity is sort of scary because of how
I
many
mean, yeah,
words.
he's quite pushed.
He brutant, though. Yeah, he just goes
King
yeah,
up then.
king up,
It is an income king, but I'm not sure if he's able to survive that anyway.
There was a brute added
No,
for
with the
Kia's
violet.
lane, though, but he's on value with a boom tree, so I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, good luck. Good luck with that. And the slime mummy delay as well.
Yep.
That should be a hold. Meanwhile,
Yep, that's a hold.
Atrocity is doing fairly well, but he will be leaking.
Yeah.
To an income king.
Oh, wow, yeah. Johnny C leaking here to the Drake Snail King up play.
Oh, sorry. That's right.
Break shamed.
Yeah. Only 25%. Imagine if he was Fiesta, guys.
True.
And he pushed really hard to this, by the way.
Yeah,
look at
he's
that.
gonna leak build to next wave, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that's desperation. I think that's just
I
desperation.
mean, he
And
has Ranger, I guess, and he's probably not getting big sent, so
he's
I mean,
not
he's
getting
just taking
sent at all.
risks. They might just be getting 12th, if I had to guess
Hmm.
what Trekkier and Atrocity are aiming for,
Yeah.
especially with like Robo Army possibility.
And they just have no pressure, right? So they've
Yeah.
been sending their income every wave like a respectable gamer, but that just means Drakir and Atrocity have free reign to do whatever they want in this game.
Do you think there's ever a chance that if Drak and Atrocity go for wave 12 send, maybe Johnny and Saji somehow, I don't know, hold it with the Savior? Because that's just a lot of gold that goes into
They
your
did
corner,
roll
right?
that mask unit, which is
Yeah.
pretty good with the Priestess.
Yeah, and
And-
Sagittarius already has it as well. So I mean, if
Yeah.
they read it, as a wave 12 send, they definitely have angles to be able to counter to play against it. But it's still a little bit risky for them.
Oh, this is bad.
Got
If
it,
Johnny
yeah.
holds here, I think you can safely say 11 is unlikely. But now that he's leaked, I think you start second guessing yourself. You're like,
They
okay,
do go for that income.
yeah, sure.
It is that Robo Army play for 12.
You,
Okay, Saji's showing the boar, which is not great. I guess you would rather prepare the masks for next if you're.
that
Yeah.
would be his
I
best
mean,
play,
it did
definitely,
prep
would be
one,
preparing
so-
masks. But that's only if you know that it's a wave 12 send, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think they have to respect an 11 send here as well.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, looking
Johnny's
at the value,
value.
right?
Johnny's value is
Not
big
good.
as us,
Yeah,
yeah.
you definitely can't build for next wave when your value looks like that.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, in this position, maybe you have to, just because of what you did before. But yeah, that is going to be hard to deal with. The good part is that Saji is on value, and his build is perfect for wave 12. The only body unit is a Canopile, and then his units are insanely good. But the sheer amount of value sent could be too much. And Drakir is
Here
getting
might
got
be giving a
single tanked.
shutdown here to a single dino. It's
He
the
got
classic,
I
the classic
Forgot
one
to
tank
adjust
on
the
wave
split,
11, pulling all of your melee units to the right again.
But it's more like a pro league, I think.
But it's a shutdown anyway.
Yeah. But I don't think he minds too much. The
No, it's
Mythium
only
counts are
25
getting
gold,
pretty high.
and the time that you're generating, the Mythium that you're generating, is worth 25 gold. These
Think
sends are
so.
huge, guys. Look, we've got Pack Mole, Imps, and Hermit from Drakir. We've got Ogre Pack from Atrocity as well, with another 160 to boot. This Mimic, okay? Now, what are your answers? Yoni C didn't really roll anything amazing here for Wave 12. Does go for the white main just for some tank value, but it's only buffing one upgraded unit and then some, like, shitters, basically.
Yeah.
It's just the
Honestly,
best
could
tank.
go for that Pilgrim and hope
Hmm.
your Aziria does something disturbing.
Yeah. Sagittarius, he's
happen.
not looking bad, though, with the Aziria, with the 2 Hellraisers,
Let's
with
have
1
that
Red
thing.
Eyes as well, yeah.
Yeah, and the king is nice and healthy.
The
Look at
King's
that.
very strong. They
A lot
won't
of
die
attack.
here.
Yeah, certainly. And if they can maybe somehow miraculously hold at least Sagittarius, that could mean a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see how the Aziria tanks,
Let's
because
keep
right
eyes
now
on
it's
this
looking
Aziria. It
quite
needs
nice.
to live. It needs to get that second heal, and it does. Okay.
Robo smurfing.
That looks beautiful.
Is it even going to get a third heal? It's close. It's
What a
oh, she
beast.
does. Okay, it doesn't
Alright,
survive
still
forever,
ace.
so it's not a miracle hold, but that was a really good performance there from Sagittarius. Sure, it's 97%, but it's all very low. Won't be too
It's
much
fake.
king damage, though Johnny C did leak 120% all on full HP, so they're still going to lose a chunk of HP here, but it could be so much worse.
For sure.
And if you look at the income situation, it's actually looking quite bright for Johnny C. He's the highest income in the game.
Yeah.
A lot of value behind it. So now I guess Johnny and Saji could maybe look for a longer play, considering that Johnny has a respectable push going on.
Probably just play
Although-
for 15.
Yeah, although the boards are screaming 15, right? You have 2 Azirias, the enemy has not shown anything super... Although, Atrocity's answers are pretty damn good. Like, it's Orchids, it's a Pilgrim with a Semi-Pota, which is Limanta, being Arcane Tank, and reducing the damage coming into her.
Yeah.
I think with Sagittarius' role, though, you just have to play for... Oh, he's killing his Aziria.
Oh, you know what the craziest part is? If they both
If they
had
reset
gotten
here.
resent, they would have died. I mean, or maybe not died, but like
Oh, they're going
taking
for
a
a
lot of
12
damage.
play. Isn't
14 play.
Trick here? Or sorry, yeah, 14 play. Isn't Crack good here? Am I
I mean,
crazy?
they,
I
they
mean,
see them
look
both
at the
overvalue
values.
here, right? Like, this seems like a bit of a
Oh my
copium
God.
14 cent.
I mean, they do have this long wave, I guess.
They do.
That's
Yeah.
helpful.
That was their play all along. I think that is the reason
Yeah.
why Sagittarius hasn't added value. But
Hmm.
that's kind of crazy. At the same time, I think that's kind of
Well,
crazy.
He has pushed for this. Like, he is basically
They
semi-suicide.
are on value.
Yeah, good luck.
I mean, these
Like-
are. I mean, yes, this is a lot of bad value, to be fair.
I mean,
but-
that's terrible. Atrocity is definitely leaking, and that's a 25 gold shutdown.
And there is not like the greatest units of all time, but
Yeah.
Drakir's prepping 15.
The really scary thing here, though, is sure they're probably going to get some leaks here and a little bit of king damage, but they're not going to win here.
Yeah.
The secret agents have
That's-
saved their Mythium, right? They're stockpiling their
Yeah.
bricks, and now they can pretty much do whatever they want, which I'm thinking is likely to be 16.
yeah, that 16 is not looking good.
Yeah, I mean, Sagittarius can obviously prep a lot
Prep
of
masks,
masks.
yeah.
And I've seen Pota Mask do obscene things with just the masks on 16. The rest
Yeah,
is
for
fodder,
sure.
basically. No matter what types
Crack
of
getting
damage.
infinite blobs out here.
Yeah, but he's
I
leaking.
really don't like Robos here. I don't think he's leaking.
Oh wow,
His
he's not
archer is
leaking at
still
all.
up.
Yeah,
I
oh,
think
there's still a full
Robos are-
Trinity Archer. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, he's not leaking at all. That's not even close.
Robos are not very good versus an archer, but like you
No.
need a lot more melee stuff.
Yeah.
I think
Like-
just Ogres would be
Yeah,
best here.
would be like double ogre mole maybe.
Or Centaur would be pretty biss, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, if you know the slimes are coming out, right?
Yeah.
But now 16 is looking like a death sentence, as the
Yeah.
kids say.
They needed to get something done here, and that something needed to be more
I-
than like one ogre reaching the king by itself.
I just don't get why they didn't play for 15.
Yep.
'Cause
Yeah,
they-
yeah,
for
exactly.
example, Aziria Steed, if you're Aziria Steed, don't you just want the game to be 15, 18?
Exactly. Exactly.
And you
and
look
the
like the
crazy-
best player on every single wave
Mhm.
of those waves.
Sagittarius is full prepping for 16. He's going to
Yeah.
have 5 Tantrum Hellraisers there, which are pretty good, but he's also going to be like 1,000 plus on the value. So, I don't know, man. This is looking really rough for double penetration.
I don't know about 1,000, but yeah, he's good value-wise.
Skillful mask here, but I don't think it's going to change much. next wave. It's just 2 masks. You really want a lot of them to really make use of the AoE, and that
And
is
he
something that.
rolled legit the worst units I've ever seen for 16. I mean, Orchid is literally the only clickable unit.
Yeah.
They go for a full send. So Yossi with his
That's
Centaur
what
They
this
have full
time.
king
right?
basically,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and Atrocity is maxing out that imp stat. Got 7 of them.
The thing is, Drakir and Atrocity are not playing particularly risky here. They have not really
Yeah.
Giga pushed to close the game on 16, and they have a decent chunk of King HP, so I don't really see
They also
this
have really
race
good builds.
working. I suppose the one thing, like, if Drakir and Atrocity had just decided to skip here because they saw all of these
Yeah,
Tantrum
then-
Hellraisers, then this full send 16 could have been really clutch. But given that they're both on pretty good value here, I think they're going to be just fine. But let's
You know
see.
what?
Sagittarius might just pull off a banger here with his like 5
let's see.
Tantrum Hellraisers, and Sunfang is really good tank value.
Yeah, and this sort of looks like how the previous games
Game
ended,
1,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's like Drakir and Atrocity have no AoE king up, so if they leak even small, this could be very painful.
Yeah.
And I think Sagi
The
should clear
Azeria,
it.
the Azeria, it does survive. Okay.
Beautiful.
But
That's what I'm
his
talking about, by the
Hellraisers
way.
are getting overrun though. There's just too much of a send. His DPS
they're
is all
not dying.
dead.
I don't think they're dying. Look at that, 71% king HP, or actually maybe they are. That's a lot.
Matching 133%
Yeah.
leaks, but Drakir holds. Okay.
Sadly, there's another cheater build in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drakir
I think they
easy
might be
holding
enough
at
pro.
-526.
And, their
And they
king
don't
is
even survive.
That's
Bonkaboo.
their death.
They don't even survive.
GG's.
Victory.
Wow.
3-0. How crazy is that?
3-0 for the Secret Agents. My god. They have not dropped a single game this entire tournament. Drakir and Atrocity are the new kids in town. FC Lucy, I hope you're watching this with your hands in front of your eyes because Drakir might be eyeing up a new partner, it seems. Holy moly.
How crazy is this? Like, going game by game, this ends up as a 3-0, and it's
Yeah.
like in 2 months' time, no one's going to remember how the games went. Everyone's just going to remember that it was a 3-0, no history in the final, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy to me.
Yeah. It all comes back to that game one, man. Like,
Yeah, that's a rough one.
that was a rough
That's
one.
so
They were so far ahead, and it just got absolutely stolen from them there by Drakir and Atrocity. So they got to be feeling rough already going into game number 2. Then, we have that big greed from Johnny C not selling his big wig on 14 in game 2, and then game 3. Like, I mean, this game could have been pretty close, right? It ended up not being that close in the end, but honestly things were still on a knife edge, right? It could have gone either way. One decision made slightly differently either way. Things are looking very different. Like if Drakir and Atrocity do see those Tantrum Hellraisers, skip 16, receive a full send, they might just straight up lose the game there on 16.
For sure.
And that's where like these high level Legion games really come down to gambles, clever decision making, mind reading plays and stuff like that. And I love to see it. But look, guys, Secret Agents, they are your August Nova Cup champions with a very dominant display in the end.
Absolutely. There's a deserved win in the tournament. Have not dropped a single map. Looked solid in pretty much every single game. Maybe outside of that game 1 where Drakir was not having the perfect game, but like other than that, I think they were just straight up the best team this tournament, and it showed in the results. It shows in the finals. That's just a very, very solid win.
Yeah,
Yo.
absolutely.
Yo.
And speaking of a very, very solid win, here they are, guys. It is Drakir and Atrocity. Congratulations, Secret Agents. My God, can you guys be stopped?
I mean, it was a 3-0, but that first game was kind of a robbery.
Yep, yeah. That's exactly what the three of us were just saying before you joined the panel here. Like, the first game was snatched from the jaws of defeat, I think.
The second one was also pretty close. So like,
Yeah.
it seems to like a stomp, but it really wasn't. They played really well.
Yeah.
Give us a run for our money.
But you guys have not lost a single game this entire tournament. So, like, Pretty impressive
Yeah.
performance, right? Exactly as you say, and as Fake One was saying, this series was a 3-0, but it was way closer than the scoreline makes it appear. Sagittarius and Johnny C, they probably should have won game number 1. Game number 2 maybe could have won with some slightly different decision making with the pawn shop, and even game number 3 was, I think, deceptively close, despite it, the win graph being very heavily in your favour. But look, you guys have got to be feeling pretty good after an undefeated record in the August Cup.
Yeah, it does feel pretty nice. Last time I pulled this off was last year with Genome.
Oh yeah.
In May, I believe.
Yeah.
So, are you telling me that Lucy needs to watch her back then? 'Cause you
Yeah,
get these,
yeah. I think we're finding the dead way. I'm just kidding.
Obviously, you could never replace her, but yeah, like the fact that you get these undefeated streaks is obviously really, really impressive. Your day 1 games, by the way, were like ridiculously one-sided. I don't think I've seen such a clearly favoured, like one-sided matchup in Division 1 since we made the changes to the format. Like, those games were crazy, man. So very, very well played to both of you for that. And obviously here in the semis and the grand finals, you dominated again. Not a single game lost, so very, very well played. Atrocity, how are you feeling, man? It's got to be what, 3 a.m. for you?
Yeah, it's 5:20. Started at 3.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's pain.
It's dedication.
It's dedication.
That's right.
Mm. Is that a late night or an early morning for you?
It's an early morning because I have to work, in a few hours, so
Okay.
can't really call it all night.
So you get a couple of hours sleep, win the Nova Cup, and then go to work as well on the Monday morning. Lovely.
Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
beast.
But while we have you on the spot, Atrocity, I have to ask you about something, or at least maybe not ask, but ask you to do something. I would like you to formally apologize to the LTD2 community for the tech that you came up with that haunted the ladder for a couple of weeks. You can now do it like public in front of the whole community, so the stage is yours.
Ooh. I don't know if I can.
Come on.
I enjoy it. I
He said
I
it.
apologize.
He's the villain.
I apologize for what others have done with it, but I'm happy I came up with something cool.
That's fair.
Oh,
And look, you
perfect
showed
game.
it here as well in the grand finals, right? And you showed exactly why it was so strong. Even though it's been giga nerfed now, Jules hit it with the nerf hammer, you're still, basically full holding a robo snail with 6 workers on 3, and then you've got the perfect aggro on 4, and then you've got the kingpin to hold a full send on 6, and it's a really clean build. And look, credit where due. We might all hate to play against it, but you cooked with that build, man. The positioning is perfect.
Absolutely.
The way that you progress the build throughout the early game is perfect. And it's just very, very smart positioning and theory crafting. So well played, sir. Hats off to you.
Yeah, jokes aside, but
Yeah.
like I'm coming from League community, and I always love to like cook around with different builds, different characters, coming up with like crazy counter picks, and that's pretty much what you did. This is super crazy to me to be able to come up with like the positioning and also the unit combination which covers each other's weaknesses so well. So hats off. Although I do like 1% hate you for it, but the rest is pure respect, man.
Thank you. I figured I got to give the viewers what they want.
Yeah. You just whip it out here with the double lock in. Was it game 3 or game 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Game
a game
3.
three.
Yeah. So
The finale.
yeah, I do think Sagittarius was probably cope sending you a bit too much with like the Robo on 3, the Robo on 4, the Robos on 6. Like, he's played against you with this combo before, right? He's got to know that you're going to hold and just be...
I don't know. Maybe he hasn't. I know I've versed a lot of people with it, but
yeah,
maybe he dodged me.
maybe. Well, now he
Big
knows.
Kluggy. That was a big Kluggy on his side, definitely.
Well, man, I mean, how many wins is it for you now? So Atrocity, I know you've won a couple of times with Topla, but I haven't seen him around for a while. Just the one?
Just the one, yeah.
Okay. And Drakia, you've had a few wins this year as well, right?
This year I only had one.
That's the second this year.
Oh, okay. So the second win for both of you. Wow.
Yeah.
Ah, very cool. Oh, of course, this was my narrative for the first 6 months, right? We've
Yeah,
had a different
exactly.
winner every single month. Yeah, okay. Look, I'm an old man, guys. You can't expect me to remember things that happened months ago. Never mind, what I had for breakfast this morning.
It's a different combination at least, so maybe this counts as a
Yeah.
new winner.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
King and Witter added 2 now, right?
Yeah,
they
they
do.
went
They
for
do.
the 2-time already. And same with Fine and Poe did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, true.
They just came out of nowhere, King and Widow, with the not even
Yeah.
playing the game. Rusty.
Just snagged a little win.
Those guys, man. Those guys.
Although I think King Downs was maybe a tiny tad too rusty even for
Yeah.
King Downs this month because he didn't even manage to sign in this time. So
Yeah, that's a bummer.
definitely a bummer.
It's
Yeah,
good
but-
for us.
good for you. Good for you. It would have been pretty cool to watch King Downs and Aviator play though. That would have been a team to watch.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah,
I think.
definitely.
Yeah. But having said that, like you guys didn't disappoint in terms of like superstar teams because that is something that we were talking about, right? Like you're obviously two very, very talented players, really high on the ladder. Drakir, you're probably rank 1. You usually are. Atrocity, I know you're right up there as well. But we were thinking, you haven't really played together before in a tournament setting. I don't even know if you played much together on the ladder. So are you
No.
going to have that teamwork? Are you going to have the kind of team synergy that you need to win a tournament? Clearly the answer is yes. But did you have any like issues with communication for you guys, or was everything just pretty straightforward?
Well, so the communication was really good. Like, we
Yeah.
just always had
I
a
mean-
game plan. We always communicated. I mean, we did a lot of mistakes, to be fair. Like, there were some times where, like, one of us, like, Waldos in, like, wave 9 or whatever. But, yeah, I think overall was really good.
Nice.
I think for me, it came down to knowing, like, I know how Drakir plays, and so I know how to play around him, and also trust his calls. So
Mhm.
we sort of just took that approach, I think.
Yeah, I guess we have played against each other a lot. So that does also help.
Yeah. Nice. Offma, any questions from you, my friend?
I don't know. Just it was fun to watch you guys play together.
Yep, definitely. Fake one, any last words from you as well?
Yeah, I agreed on the fact that you guys looked super solid together, and that was a joy to watch, definitely. But I wanted to ask you about the state of the game, each of you actually, in terms of the meta. I think we've seen you crack the code, sort of, versus Saji and Johnny. I think they have made a couple of mistakes, especially post Wave 10 with some of the skips or sends and some of the stolen games you had. It felt like you guys were fairly confident in what you were doing after Wave 10. So, the game used to be super scaling heavy up until very recently, but this Nova Cup was actually not going super long in most of the games, at least the ones on the mainstream. So what do you guys think of it?
I mean, I think one change that's really underrated is like the league goal change. Like, I think people are kind of sleeping on the fact that you can just sometimes leak and it's fine. Like I think that one, like, wait, which game was it? Castle Sakura game where we're just like pushing really hard and like leaking a 2-1 Lizard on 6, which then enabled like a really big send on 7.
Yeah.
So I think there's definitely room for like aggressive plays.
Play a bit more greedy in the early game, like push those
Yeah, for
workies,
sure.
go for the pro leaks. Like pro leaking is back, baby.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, fair play.
And I think along with that, playing like that is probably the best way to go right now. But the pattern to send can be quite tricky, I think, because people are building quite a lot. You do just need to be patient. Income king, skip a wave or 2 is fine, and then make a play sort of in the mid game, wave 13, 14 if you have to. I think the games do go really long if you just keep trying to break them when you really can't, and then you just feed them and then they scale and the game just drags out.
That has happened to me quite a few times.
Yeah, that's true. Like after wave 10, it's like it's like the workers are like not as good as the early.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it's usually just safe. Like we just go like income on like 10 or 11, and we just angle like 15, 16 in a lot of our games. Obviously, sometimes you have to adjust when they try to like force play like 13, 14. But yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. That's really interesting to me, actually, the way that you think about like pro leagues being extra strong and going for these mega sends on like wave 7 or wave 8 or something because you can afford to leak half the wave against a lizard on wave 6 because of
Yeah,
those gold changes. And probably what that says to me is there's probably still quite a lot of room for players to expand at the very top of the game. Like, it sounds like maybe not many teams have adapted to this new meta, let's say. Like, people haven't really learnt to play around these gold changes. And maybe because they're just very subtle, right? Like, you don't actually see the change in gold necessarily, but you're going to feel it because you're going to have a few extra gold in your pocket after a big leak. Your opponent's going to have a little bit less gold in their pocket after a big leak. So over the course of a game, you can definitely feel it, but you don't immediately see it. It's not like a Fiesta where you get a cheer and you've got, oh, plus 10 gold because I leaked. But you might have 10 more gold than you would have had in the previous patch because the leak gold formula has changed, right? So
Yeah.
that's really interesting to me. That's something to bear in mind. Yeah. Cool. Well, on that note, guys, I think that's probably about everything that we have time for here today. So, of course, another massive congratulations to the secret agents, Drakir and Atrocity. A very, very well-deserved win here with not a single game dropped this month. So, super well played to you guys. A huge thank you to my glorious co-casters, Offma and Fake One. It's been an absolute pleasure, guys. And, of course, everybody behind the scenes, the tournament organisers, the developers, just really supporting the tournament, sponsoring, of course, and the viewers at home. Look, if we didn't have people here to watch Nova Cup, there would be no point hosting the tournament. So a massive thank you to everybody at home as well. And we hope that you have all enjoyed the show. But that's about everything from me. Any final words from my casters?
Good luck at work, Atrocity. Enjoy your day, man.
Thank you.
Really, really.
I'll get through the day with the adrenaline still pumping.
Good man,
Oh,
good
yeah.
man. Cool. All right then. Well, guys, again, congratulations, and viewers at home, make sure you're back in time for the September Nova Cup. Hopefully it's going to be another banger. But until then, goodbye.